It's Lucy's birthday today. She ordered a cake, but unfortunately, the delivery guy brought the wrong one. Lucy goes to the pastry shop herself and asks to replace the cake. There are 3 cakes left in the fridge. Can you find the correct one? The first cake has a bride and groom figurine on top, so it's probably a wedding cake. The second cake is meant for another customer named Mary. Therefore, the third one belongs to Lucy. Lucy takes the cake and heads home. She's passing by an Italian restaurant. Can you spot a vampire hunter among these people? It's this chef with a garlic necklace. Finally, Lucy returns home. Some of her guests are already here. Her sister Stella, her college friend Anna, and her colleague Jessica. Lucy asks them to iron her new party dress and rushes to the shower to freshen up. Then she returns to the guests. The dress is perfectly ironed, but there's a huge blue stain on it. Can you figure out who put the stain on her dress? It was Jessica. She has blue ink on her hands because her pen was leaking. Lucy goes to her bedroom to find a new outfit for her party. Then she returns to the kitchen to check on the cake in the fridge. Oh no! Someone has bitten it! Lucy hasn't even blown the candles yet. Who's guilty? Take a look at the crime scene. There's a used fork with some red lipstick on it. Anna is the only one who's wearing red lipstick. The mystery is solved. Lucy gives Anna a postcard with the following text. Can you decode this rebus? You are under arrest. It's time to unwrap the gifts. Lucy's guests say, you have to crack our riddles to get the gifts. Riddle 1. I get shorter the more I'm used, but I'm not a pencil. I'm made of wax, but I'm not a crayon. I can help you see in the dark, but I'm not a flashlight. I'm often found on a birthday cake, but I'm not icing. What am I? I'm a candle. Lucy gets her first gift from Stella. The guys go ahead and invite Lucy to crack the next riddle. I can pop, but I'm not popcorn. Sometimes I have a string attached, but I'm not a kite. Sometimes I float, but I'm not a swimmer. I'm seen at birthday parties, but I'm not a candle. What am I? I'm a balloon. Lucy gets a bunch of balloons from Jessica. To get the third gift, Lucy needs to solve the following riddle. I bake, I rest, I come in different shapes, and I sometimes live with a flame on top of my head. What am I? I'm a cake. Suddenly, someone rings the doorbell. Lucy opens the door and sees 3 people in carnival masks. 2 of them are late guests of Lucy, but one of them is an imposter. Can you guess who? It's the person in the middle. He doesn't have any feet, and he's floating in the air. This guy must be a ghost! Lucy returns to the kitchen. Oh no! Someone popped the balloons. Let's have a look around. Jessica is trying to get rid of a stain on her clothes. Stella is lighting a candle, and Anna is finishing her pizza sitting right next to the balloons. Who's guilty? Anna is wearing a dress with spikes. They must have poked some holes in the balloons. It's time to blow out the candles. Lucy pours tea for all the guests. Then she leaves the table to have a brief phone call. Lucy returns and takes a sip of tea from her cup. Yikes, it's very salty. Lucy interrogates 3 people around the table. Stella says, "I didn't touch your cup. I was busy taking a selfie." Anna says, "I was cutting fruit, only your sister is capable of such a silly prank." And Jessica says, "I was in the bathroom, so I didn't see what was happening at the table." Who's lying? Anna, look! She's hiding the salt shaker in her dress. Anna admits that she was trying to destroy the party. She's turning 22 today, but everyone forgot about her birthday. Lucy wants to make amends. Take a look around and try to find a possible gift for Anna. Hey, Lucy's birthday cake still has unlit candles in the shape of numbers 2 and 5. Lucy can turn the 5 upside down, make the candles look like 22, and present them to Anna. Luckily, Anna forgives Lucy. Some of the guests start dancing. Suddenly, the light goes off for a second and then comes back on. Stella screams, "Someone stole one of my diamond earrings!" She questions 3 suspects. Lucy's boyfriend, Bill, says, "I was trying to film a TikTok dance when the lights went out." Anna says, "I'm afraid of the dark, so I just landed on the sofa." Lucy's coworker, Oliver, says, "I wanted to ask Stella to dance, but suddenly it became dark, so I just froze." Who stole the earring? No one. It just fell under this chair. Lucy decides to take some party pictures. Can you find 3 differences between these 2 pictures? Here they are. Let's see if you can find 3 differences between these pictures. Over here. Let's make the task a little harder. Can you spot 5 differences between these images? Here they are. Bill is an artist. He gives Lucy his painting as a birthday gift. What's wrong here? There's no river. Can you help Lucy distribute these party hats among her guests? Stella loves the color yellow, but she's not fond of green. Oliver doesn't like the color purple and stripes. Anna is allergic to flowers, but she loves stars. Jessica doesn't like the color yellow, and Bill is not fond of orange decor. The first hat is for Jessica, and the second one is for Stella. Anna should get the 3rd hat, Bill the 4th one. And finally, the 5th hat is perfect for Oliver. Lucy and her guests run out of food, but they're still hungry. There's a pizza restaurant just next to Lucy's place. Bill decides to go there. He rushes over and bumps into another customer. Bill hits his head and forgets what pizza Lucy asked him to buy. He remembers just 3 things. The pizza topping shouldn't include more than 4 colors. It shouldn't have any onions. but it must have at least one green element. Can you help Bill find the correct pizza? Four-cheese pizza and margarita don't have any greenish elements, so we can exclude them. Mushroom pizza does have green olives, but it also has onions, as well as pineapple and jalapeno pizza. Goodbye! Only pepperoni pizza is in line with the assignment. Suddenly, Lucy hears someone ringing on the door. She opens and faces two dudes. They introduce themselves briefly. Peter says, "I'm the nephew of your next-door neighbor, Glenda. She sent me here to borrow a cup of sugar from Lucy." And Rick says, "I'm a delivery guy. Here's a birthday gift." Can you guess who the prankster is? It's Rick. He doesn't know Lucy's name, which is weird for a delivery guy. I wouldn't risk opening this box. Lucy exposes Rick and returns to the kitchen. She discovers that someone has broken her favorite vase. Lucy interrogates three suspects. Bill says, "I was in the bathroom. I just returned and noticed the broken vase." Stella says, "I put roses in this vase about an hour ago, and I haven't approached it since." And Jessica says, "I was dancing in the living room. About 5 minutes ago, I heard the sound of breaking glass from the kitchen." Who's lying? Stella, take a closer look at the broken vase. No roses, only daisies. Today, we're visiting a truly bizarre university. Keep your eyes wide open and don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Look at these people. One of them is not a student. Can you figure out who it is? This lady in black is a supernatural creature. Look at the mirror. Both she and her reflection are facing you. It's not possible in the real world. Students at this university aren't exactly known for their honesty. Look, it's midterms, and someone is cheating during an exam. Can you help the professor find this dishonest student? It's this guy. He has answers written on his arm. Thanks to your help, the professor has caught the cheating student, but she's a kind-hearted woman and gives the guy another chance. He needs to solve this riddle to pass the exam. Would you maybe like to help the poor student you've exposed? Keep in mind that this riddle has challenged many intelligent minds, and for good reason. The missing number in the third circle is 225. The numbers in these circles seem to be completely random at first glance. But let's perform some basic arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and try to figure out the pattern. We need to follow these steps. Look at the first circle and pair the opposites. The first pair gives us 11. As for the second pair, we need to calculate the difference between the numbers. It's 9. The next step should be finding the difference between the two results and squaring this number. We get 4. Let's do the same for the second circle to make sure that this is a working scheme. And now, let's find the missing number. So, 225 is the answer. The exams are over, and students are celebrating. But the party is kinda shady. Look around. Someone who doesn't belong to this college has sneaked inside. Can you spot the intruder? Look at this young lady. Her feet don't seem to be touching the ground. She must be a ghost. During the holidays, supernatural beings occupied the college, and now they're haunting the students. Even worse, someone has bitten your friend. Which of these people is a vampire? This young man has a t-shirt that looks as if it has some bloodstains on it. But that's just a print. This woman has a whole garlic knob hanging as a necklace on her chest, so she's not a vampire. But look at the man who's drinking some red liquid. I bet it's not fruit juice. He's actually the one we should be aware of. Imagine coming back to your dorm and finding out that your roommate is missing. Plus, everything around you looks kinda suspicious. Strange sounds, weird smells. Is your roommate hiding some terrible secret? Let's look at the sky. See that full moon? Now, pay attention to the walls and the floor of your room. You can notice scratch marks and chunks of fur here and there. That's the answer. Your roommate is a werewolf. After figuring out your roommate's secret, you realize you need to clear your head. You go to a morning pool party. People are swimming, playing around, and having fun. But one of the guests is a mermaid. Can you figure out who it is? This girl just pretends to be a mermaid. She even has matching makeup. This guy is wearing special gloves with membranes between the fingers. The mermaid is actually this girl who's staying as far away from the swimming pool as possible. She's even wearing a raincoat. All because if even a small water droplet touches her skin, she will get her tail. It's time to go back to school, only to find out that one of your professors is possessed. Who is that? This man has red eyes and messy hair, but that's most likely because he's sleep deprived. This woman is unnaturally pale, but she's suffering from food poisoning. Look at that piece of pizza next to her. It sure doesn't look fresh. At the same time, the guy on the right has two shadows instead of one. He's definitely possessed. Okay, now let's move on to something less supernatural, but no less tricky. Imagine having to empty a jar of milk and a jar of water into a bowl. But of course, there are several conditions. You must be able to see the border between the milk and the water. You must be able to separate the milk from the water. And finally, you aren't allowed to use any kinds of dividers to keep these two liquids apart. How can you do it? All you need to do is to pour the water into the bowl first and freeze it. Now all that's left to do is to add the milk. In the city where people are keen on Brainteasers and Riddles, 4% of people don't list their phone numbers. So if we select 40 random people from the phone directory, how many of them will have unlisted numbers? The answer is 0%. You see, if the numbers of these 40 people are in the phone directory, they're already listed by default. David invited 7 friends to his birthday party. They brought a beautiful big cake, but they couldn't eat it unless it was divided into 8 equal pieces with just 3 cuts. Luckily, they managed to do this and could enjoy the treat. Would you be able to do the same? To fulfill this task correctly, you need to follow the next steps. First of all, cut the cake across the diameter through the middle point. After that, cut the cake horizontally. Now you already have 4 equal pieces. And finally, cut the cake across the diameter, perpendicular to the first cut. There you go, 8 equal pieces and just 3 cuts. Now, look at the poor guy. One of his friends has pulled a paint bucket prank on him. Look at the rest of the people attentively and try to figure out who it was. It was definitely Luke. Look at his pants. There are paint stains there. Now, look at these girls. They're in a dark basement tied with ropes. Who is going to be the first to escape? Most likely, it'll be the first girl. She's got long, beautiful nails. She's bound to have a file to look after them. It can help her cut through the rope. There's been a robbery on the train, and one of these people is hiding the stolen goods. Who can it be? It's this woman. She only pretends to be pregnant. Her belly has a bizarre shape. It's suspiciously square. The police had been looking for Kyle for 2 days. The guy went hiking and never came back. Finally, he was found. Someone had hit him on the head and left him lying in the bushes. Kyle only managed to say, "Friend," and lost consciousness. The police officers had 3 suspects, all of them Kyle's friends. Zachary said he spent these last days at work getting ready for a conference. Jeremy told the detectives he'd sprained his ankle and had been in bed for 4 days. And Billy explained that he'd been to New York. The man even showed the police officers his boarding pass. Who's responsible for the accident with Kyle? Billy showed the police just one boarding pass from Chicago to New York. Then how did he get back from New York? His story sounds fishy. Jordan was very late for a job interview, but when he drove up to the office building, he found out there were no free parking spaces. He decided to leave his car a bit farther from the entrance. But even though there were several other vehicles in that area, parking was prohibited there. Luckily, Jordan came up with an idea and didn't get fined. What did he do? He took a parking ticket from another car and put it on his windshield. It looked as if he had already been fined.
Hey now, Brightsider. How about a fresh portion of mind-challenging riddles? Great! Then let's get down to work.
Yeah.
Look at this picture attentively. Can you figure out the answer to this unusual equation? If your answer is 43, you're absolutely right. Which word would you use to describe a person who doesn't have all their fingers on one hand? Probably this word should be regular or normal. Probably no one has all 10 fingers on one hand. Most people have 5 on each. Let's say you've got a big round cake with 7 candles along its edges. You need to blow out all of the 7 candles, which are placed in a circle. But there's one rule. Once you blow out one candle, the candles next to it also get extinguished. If you blow on an extinguished candle, it will reignite. So, if you blow on a candle, it will go from lit to unlit and vice versa, as well as the candles on either side of it. Your task is to blow out all of the candles with as few blows as possible. Here's a little hint for you. Blowing on the same candle twice is the same as not blowing on it at all. Blowing on the same candle 3 times is the same as blowing on it once. You need to blow on each candle once. Start from any of them and continue around the circle. You will relight several candles, but eventually all the candles will be extinguished by an adjacent blow. Uh-oh, what a strange situation. I'm sure it's some kind of misunderstanding. Can you figure out what's going on here? The man probably took his pants off so that the woman could make a repair for him. And she most likely needed a safety pin to do it, the pin she had on her shirt to keep it together. Now, look at this image. Who is behaving in a stupid way here? It's the woman on the right. Not because she puts the baby in the pool, but because she has not checked the water temperature before doing it. That's exactly what the woman on the left is busy with. Look at these people. One of them has robbed a bank. Both of them have their wallets open and are showing what's inside. Can you figure out which person is the criminal? The man on the left has a wallet full of cash, and the guy on the right has an empty wallet. But if you look at him attentively, you'll see a dollar bill peeking out of his pocket. So he must be the thief. Imagine getting stranded on a deserted island. Ew, sounds scary. Do you think this man will survive there, wild animals and all? Cheetahs don't usually attack humans, and even though this encounter looks dangerous, the man will be able to survive if he doesn't behave aggressively or if he starts feeding the cheetah. Look at these images attentively and try to figure out which of these men has a cat. It's obvious that it's the man on the right. Even though the guy on the left has a cute poster with a feline on the wall, he might just be a cat lover. But in the room of the man on the right, you can spot quite a few scratch marks on the wall. This man called the police and told them that someone had broken into his house and robbed him. But the police suspect that he is lying to claim the insurance money. Can you figure out why they are suspicious? Well, that's because even though there are several vases on the floor, none of them are broken. Look at this beautiful wedding photo. They look so happy and in love. The only problem is that one of these people is from another planet. Have you spotted them? The bride was definitely not born on Earth. She has 3 arms. Gee, I wonder if the groom has noticed. Both of these people seem to be in danger. The road is quite uneven, but which one of them is more likely to trip? That's a good question. Can you find the answer? The visually impaired man is careful and uses his white cane to find the safest way. But the woman isn't paying attention to her surroundings, engrossed in her phone. She's more likely to trip. David was born on the 25th of December, but strangely, he has always celebrated his birthday in the summer. Why does he do it? David lives in the southern hemisphere. In December, it's summer there. Now look at these girls. Can you deduce which of them has a dog? It's the girl on the left. Her pooch apparently tore her sneakers while she was away. These people all look pretty normal, but one of them is not a real person. Who is it? It's the guy in the middle. Look attentively, and you'll see that he doesn't have a shadow. Why was every single person allowed on the party bus except for 2 people? They were married, and the party was for singles only. Mark was an infamous robber, so smart that he was always one step ahead of the police. Mark's rivals were jealous of his skills. But once, they got to know that Mark's just got his hands on a precious necklace. His main competitor decided to steal this necklace from Mark to prove that he was a more skilled thief. So he searched Mark's house but didn't find the necklace. Disappointed, he put everything back in place and left. When Mark came back home, he immediately realized that someone had been there. How did he figure it out? The bed is the clue. It looks different than before the rivals' visit. Look at these people attentively. All of them are teachers, but one teacher is fake. Can you figure out which one? It's the guy on the left. Can you see his portrait over there on the wall? He's a wanted criminal. Now look at these 2 teachers. Which of them is a criminal? It's most probably the lady on the left. Look, there's something red on her sleeve. Ooh, is it blood? Michael had a powerful enemy who was a dark wizard. Once, he managed to kidnap the man and lock him on top of an incredibly high tower. In Michael's room, there was just one small window and no doors at all. But the wizard thought it wasn't enough. He set the tower on magic fire and apparated away. Michael knew he didn't have much time left. He looked around the room and saw 3 magic potions. The first one could make him inhumanly strong. The second would turn him into a vampire. And with the help of the third potion, he could summon any animal he wanted. Which potion should he drink? Even if he destroyed the tower with his newly acquired strength, it wouldn't help him with the magic fire. No animal could help him escape from the tower. But if he chose to become a vampire, he would be able to turn into a bat and simply fly away. Richard was walking through the park after work when somebody hit him on the head from behind. When he woke up, he was in a well. Luckily, there wasn't too much water in it. But as soon as Richard tried to climb out of the well, he realized that the walls were too slippery. The man noticed a rope with a bucket tied to it. The bucket was hanging pretty low, but try as he might, Richard couldn't reach it. However, in 15 minutes, the man was running away from the dangerous place. Can you figure out how Richard escaped? The man took his shoes off and threw them into the bucket. It lowered, and Richard managed to escape.
Audrey lives alone in a condo in Boston. She wakes up in the middle of the night because of the loud music coming from one of her neighbor's apartments. She doesn't know exactly which apartment it comes from. So the next morning, Audrey asks her 3 neighbors what they were doing the night before. Molly says, "I've been playing video games in my headphones all night long, so I didn't hear anything." Peter says, "I was on a plane getting back from Paris. I just returned home a couple of minutes ago after 2 months in France." And Nina says, "I was sleeping after a long shift at work." After hearing their stories, Audrey knows for sure who's a liar. What about you? It's Peter. He said he just returned from France, but look at his table. There are fresh apples lying there. If he had been gone for a month, they would have been rotten by now. Audrey checks her mailbox. Oh no! Bad news! The building where she rents her apartment is about to be demolished. She has only a week to find a new place and move out. Audrey starts searching online, but unfortunately, she forgot the password for her rental website account. She only remembers that this word is a tasty and sweet fruit that can give you a lot of energy. And you can also find it in your calendar. Can you crack the code? The correct password is date.
Yes!
Audrey logs in and scrolls through a bunch of rental listings. Finally, she finds 3 options. Can you help her choose the best apartment? According to the description, the first apartment was built in 1023. Wow, it must be very ancient. Boston didn't even exist then. It's probably a scam. Take a closer look at the couch in the 3rd apartment. Can you see bed bugs? Ew! These nasty guys are not the best roommates. So, Audrey should pick the 2nd apartment.
Okay.
Audrey books this new apartment, but unfortunately, she doesn't have enough savings to provide the requested deposit. She decides to take part in a game show. The winner will get $50,000. Audrey is doing pretty well, and finally, it's time for the last task. Audrey has to put her head in one of these 3 boxes. There are sparking electrical wires in the first one. There's a Venus flytrap in the 2nd box. It's a carnivorous plant. And there are dozens of venomous scorpions in the 3rd box. Can you help Audrey win the prize and stay safe? Audrey should choose the 2nd box. Venus flytraps aren't dangerous for people, only for flies. Yay! Audrey wins the money. Now it's time to pack her boxes and move. Can you spot 3 emojis among her stuff? Here they are. Audrey goes to her favorite coffee shop to have a break. Let's see if you can find 3 emojis in this location. Hello? Audrey is exploring her new neighborhood. Suddenly, she sees something curious. It always runs, but it never walks. What is it? It's a river. David is Audrey's new neighbor. He agrees to help her move. But first, they need to pick up David's son from college. On their way there, David gets an idea. How about a bet? I'll give you my super expensive carpet if you manage to figure out which student is my son.
Okay.
Audrey agrees. They arrive at the college and see 3 guys waiting at the gates. They all look similar. Can you spot David's son? It's the student on the left. David has the letter L tattooed on his wrist, and the guy is wearing a bracelet with the same letter. Audrey wants to sell her old sofa. She finds 3 potential buyers online. The first one writes, "Hi, I'm Jessica. I'll buy your sofa and remove it tomorrow morning. But first, I'm going to need your phone number and to make sure you're not a scammer." The second one writes, "Hi, I'm Mike. Nice sofa, but the price is a bit higher than I was hoping. Can you make a $100 discount?" And Sheila says, "This sofa is perfect for my studio, but I'm abroad at the moment. Can we postpone the delivery for next week?" Can you help Audrey choose the best buyer? The first buyer introduces herself as Jessica, but her username and picture don't really match. Moreover, it's a bad idea to reveal your phone number to strangers online. As for Mike, his proposal to lower the price is ridiculous because Audrey is selling the sofa for $100 only. Thus, Sheila is the best choice.
Ooh.
The next morning, Audrey wakes up in her new apartment. The boxes are still unpacked, but Audrey wants to brew some coffee. Her coffee machine is in one of these 3 boxes. The note on the first box says that the coffee machine isn't in box 2. The note on the second box says the machine is in box 1 or 3. And the note on the third box says that the coffee machine isn't here. Can you help Audrey choose the right box? If the coffee machine isn't in the second box, it's either in the first or the third box. But the note on box 3 says the machine isn't there, so it must be in the first box. And now Audrey's task is to find one important thing. It has one eye but still cannot see. What is it? It's a needle. Here's what Audrey is looking for now. It's a protector and it sits on a bridge. One individual can see directly through it while others wonder what it hides. What is she looking for? Sunglasses. We meant the nasal bridge. Can you spot 3 emojis in Audrey's kitchen? Here they are. Audrey goes to the laundry room in the basement of the building. She gets lost and comes across 3 doors leading outside the trap. Behind the first door, there's a room full of poisonous bees that could make people lose their mind. Behind the second door, there's a room without oxygen. And there's a room full of unfriendly monsters behind the third door. Which way is more or less safe? The room without oxygen seems the most promising option. Audrey can hold her breath and quickly walk through the room. Audrey is about to leave the basement, but she comes across an anxious neighbor who says, "I just saw a crocodile and it ran into the boiler room." Audrey goes there to check, but nobody's there. How did the croc escape? This way. Audrey returns to her place. She scrolls her feed and sees these 2 photos. One of these ladies is a robot. Can you guess who? This lady on the left has an engine oil canister in the bathroom, but it doesn't prove that she's a robot. Meanwhile, the person in the toilet stall has strange wires in unexpected places, so she's the robot. Audrey goes to the furniture store. There, she sees a group of customers, but it's not that simple. One of them is a werewolf. Can you guess who? It's the third lady. Her claws pierced her gloves. She's transforming into a werewolf. Audrey goes to the local food court and purchases a cup of coffee and a strawberry donut. She leaves a tray with her order on a table and leaves for a moment to tip the waiter. Then she returns to find out that her food is gone. Audrey questions 3 people standing nearby. The cleaner says, "I was about to throw away your tray, but then I noticed that the food was untouched, so I left it alone." The manager says,
Sorry, miss. It's not my job to guard the tables.
and a customer sitting next to Audrey says, "Ew, gross. I would never touch someone else's food. What if you're sick?" Who's lying? The manager. You can see donut sprinkles on his face. Busted. Sir Lionel was a very rich man with many servants working in his mansion. One day, as he was about to go on a business trip, his night watchman warned him not to board his flight. "I had a dream last night that something bad will happen on that plane." Sir Lionel got annoyed at first, but since he was also a bit superstitious himself, he decided not to take the flight. Later that day, as he was watching the news, he saw that his plane did get lost on a deserted island.
Uh-oh.
He first thanked his employee and then fired him. Why? Because as a night watchman, he's not supposed to be sleeping on the job. Eduardo was walking to his home late at night when he suddenly heard an evil laugh and was magically transported to a peculiar reality show as a contestant. The evil presenter showed him 3 doors. Behind the first door, there was a room filled with venomous spiders. The second door opened to a chamber containing toxic gas. The third door revealed a space with the floor covered in sharp shards of glass. In which room will he have a better chance to survive? He should pick the room with the floor covered in shards of glass. See? He has his boots on. Those can protect him from getting hurt. Late at night, Detective Forsyth was patrolling a quiet neighborhood when he heard a scream coming from one of the houses. Rushing to the scene, he found a group of friends gathered, and one of them, Manny, claimed he had just seen a ghost in the backyard. Forsyth questioned each friend to determine the truth. Lola said she had been reading a book in the living room. Joyce claimed she had been cooking in the kitchen. Emily mentioned she had been taking a nap in the bedroom. And Manny, the one who saw the ghost, insisted he had been gardening in the backyard. Detective Forsyth quickly identified the liar. Who was it and why? It was Manny. His claim of gardening in the backyard was false because it was late at night. And if you take a closer look, there are no garden lights to illuminate the area. So, no one would be gardening in the dark. You are listening to your favorite radio program, I'm a Survivor, in which one of the listeners who participates in the weekly questions gets a chance to win $5,000. This week, you finally decided to try your chance. So, you call the program and the host gives you your question. In which situation do you have more chances to survive? If you're falling from a 10-story building, or if you find yourself surrounded by a swarm of bees. Can you win the $5,000? The bees buzzing around you might not be aggressive and might not cause you any harm. But when you're falling from that kind of height, unless you're Spider-Man or something, Professor Orion was an eccentric scientist who had a collection of enchanted doors in his laboratory. Each door led to a different dimension. He wanted to invite his friend, Beth, to his laboratory, but first, he needed to make sure she was worthy of exploring the realms beyond with him. So, he asked her this riddle. I fly without wings, I cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness follows me. What am I? Do you know the answer? The correct answer is cloud. Jason was about to graduate, but his faith was going to be determined by whether or not he could pass his algebra test. When he got his exam paper, this was the only question his professor asked. If it takes 30 men 30 minutes to dig 30 holes, how many minutes does it take one man to dig one hole? Can you help Jason graduate? It takes one man 30 minutes to dig one hole. Rose bought an old mirror from the antique store. But when she brought it home, the mirror pulled her inside and transported her into a magical castle with no escape. After checking every room to find an exit, Rose discovered 3 doors in the dungeon that could help her go back home. However, behind the first door, there was a raging fire. Behind the second door, there were thousands of venomous scorpions. And behind the third door, there was a pitch-dark maze filled with underground holes one could easily fall into. Which door should Rose choose? She should choose the third door. See the wood branches on the floor? She can take one and turn it into a torch and go through the maze. This way she can see the holes and avoid them. In the town of Puzzleville, Master Albert held an annual event known as the Night of Riddles. Every year, when the clock struck midnight, he asked the crowd one particular riddle, and the one who could answer it correctly would be crowned the Riddler's Apprentice. This year, he asked, what is the one question you cannot truthfully answer yes to? Can you answer it and win that title? The answer is, are you asleep yet? As Nicole was driving across a road at night, her phone's battery ran out. Unfortunately, she forgot to take her charger with her and there was nowhere she could get a new one. So she got lost without being able to use the Maps app. The road in front of her split up into 3 smaller roads, and there was a sign at each of them. The first sign said, Toxic Swamp ahead. The second sign said, Werewolves ahead. And the third one said, Active Volcano ahead. Which one should she pick? It might be a cloudy night, but you can still catch a glimpse of the moon, which is not full. So she should pick the second road, since werewolves won't be there during this time of the month at least. In the futuristic city of Cyber Harbor, people communicate through holographic messages. Xander received a hologram from an anonymous sender with a cryptic riddle. Only if he could answer the riddle correctly that the sender's identity would be revealed to him. What is always in front of you but can't be seen? Can you help Xander discover the true identity of the sender? The answer is the future. Ernest and William are 2 logicians. They both pick a whole number from 1 to 30 inclusive. The following conversation occurs between them. Ernest: is your number double mine? William: I don't know. Is your number double mine? Ernest: I don't know. Is your number half mine? William: I don't know. Is your number half mine? Ernest: I don't know. William: I know your number. Considering all the statements are true, What is the number Ernest picked, and how did William know? The correct answer is 4. From their first exchange, we know that William's number is even. Otherwise, he would have known that it couldn't be the double of a number. From the second exchange, we know that Ernest's number is a multiple of 4. Otherwise, he would know that it couldn't be the double of an even number. From the third exchange, we know that William's number is 14 or less. Otherwise, he would know that it couldn't be half of the largest possible multiple of 4. From the fourth exchange, we know that Ernest's number must be 4. Otherwise, if it were 8 or more, he would know it couldn't be half of a number that's 14 or less. And the only possible multiple of 4 that's less than 8 is 4. Andy and Bernie were trapped on an island surrounded by swift currents. Luckily, they heard the thrum of a helicopter, but before it passed them by, they needed to attract the pilot's attention to save themselves. They had to use mirrors or flashlights. Just as they were losing hope, Bernie had a brilliant idea. Soon after, the helicopter spotted them and rescued them. How did Bernie do it? Look at all the tropical, large, colorful leaves and flowers around. He used them to create a makeshift SOS sign on the ground. Bobby was invited to take part in a famous game show. If she got all the answers correctly, she would win the prize of $1 million. For the first round, she needed to match the bird in the image with its correct shadow. Can you help her out? Yep, it's the fifth shadow. That's the correct one. For the second round, she needed to solve this rebus puzzle. Take a look at the image. Can you help Bobby figure out the next 2 letters? The answer was staring her right in the face, quite literally. The next 2 letters were A and W, which are the initial letters of the word and plus the word why. Next up, the game show host projected this image right in front of her. He asked her if she could find the hidden number in the image. Can you guess which number Bobby answered? Number 2. It was hidden right there in the middle. Since Bobby was getting everything right, the game show presenter decided to make the riddles more difficult. He asked her how many circles were in this image. Can you help her out here? This one was a little trickier, but there are 6 circles. Bobby was getting closer to the final round, so the host decided to make her life a bit more difficult. He picked a riddle that 90% of the people failed to know the answer to. Take a look at this image. The host asked Bobby to cut the main object in the image into 4 equal parts. How could Bobby do that? There it is. You just divide the big shape into smaller versions of itself. To win the final prize, the host came up with a riddle on the spot. He asked Bobby, "On my way to Berlin, I saw a man with 7 wives. Each wife had 7 sacks. Each sack had 7 cats. Each cat had 2 kittens. How many were going to Berlin?" Can you help Bobby figure out the answer to this riddle? Well, only one person was going to Berlin, the person who saw the whole thing. Way to go, Bobby. You just won $1 million. Dan opened a time portal and set free a group of mutant ants inside his lab. The 4 humans left in the lab needed to escape before the ants caught up. To do so, they needed to cross an old rope bridge hanging on top of a massive gorge. By Dan's calculations, the ants would catch up with the lab team in 17 minutes. They needed to get everyone across the bridge before that. Dan was the fastest one in the group. He could cross the bridge in 1 minute. The lab assistant, Becky, could cross it in 2, but the janitor and the professor were slower. The first needed 5 minutes and the second needed 10. How could they arrive at the other side safely, knowing that the bridge could only hold 2 people at a time and each group needed to carry the sole lantern left to illuminate the way? Here's how it works. Dan and Becky cross first, carrying the lantern. After 2 minutes, both of them are across the bridge and Dan, the quickest, runs back with the lantern. Then the professor and the janitor cross together, taking them 10 minutes. In total, 13 minutes have elapsed. Becky grabs the lantern from them and dashes across the bridge to help Dan get across. With 2 minutes left on the clock, Dan and Becky arrive safely on the other side, just in time to cut the rope and save their lives. Alice had an epic fight with her best friend Jen. They were supposed to go hiking together, but after the fight, Alice decided to go alone. After a long walk, she found a place to settle down for the night. She made all the provisions to have a safe camping night, but the next morning when she woke up, she saw that her food bag was empty. Someone had stolen all the food inside and only left the bag. Take a look at the image. Can you find out who the culprit was? Well, although there were animal footprints on the floor, none of these animals were big or tall enough to reach Alice's bag hanging on the tree. But hey, what's that? It looks like Jen's hairband. She must have followed Alice and decided to prank her by stealing her food. Peter got tired of big city life and moved to a quiet village. He opened a small coffee shop and his place soon got popular. His coffee shop was the talk of the town. Farmers, hipsters, and travelers came all over the region to drink his famous cappuccino. He even won an award for best coffee shop in the area. Until one night, someone broke into the coffee shop and stole his yearly supply of milk and coffee. Peter decided to investigate on his own and interrogated 4 suspects. Dylan, a painter, said he'd been out of the city that night. Leah, who worked at the coffee shop, said she had been working on a personal project all night long. Vanessa said she'd been rehearsing a dance for the upcoming New Year's presentation. And Jason, a farmer, said he'd been taking care of his cattle. Take a look at the suspects. Can you figure out who's the culprit? They sure didn't have the best alibis, but the culprit is definitely Vanessa. She said she was rehearsing for a New Year's show. But take a look at these flowers. It's clearly spring. For a school challenge, 100 students received a number between 1 and 100. Each student was instructed to go inside a classroom that had exactly 100 boxes, randomly numbered between 1 and 100. Inside each box there was a slip of paper, also containing a random number between 1 and 100. Now, each student needed to enter the classroom on their own and find the box that contained the slip of paper with the student's number on it. But to do so, the student was only allowed to open a maximum of 50 boxes. They were instructed to leave the room exactly as they found it, and they weren't allowed to communicate with any other students once they'd left the room. If all the students were able to find their numbers in the slips of papers inside the boxes, they would each win $100. But if even one of them wasn't able to find their number, then none of them would win the prize. Can you figure out what's the best strategy for all of the students to find their numbers and win the prize? This riddle sure isn't obvious, but let's check out how it could work. If each student searched for their numbers randomly, they would each have a 50% chance of finding the box with their number inside. This is so because there were 100 boxes and they were allowed to look inside 50 of them. However, the probability of all of them finding their own number following this random strategy is absurdly small. So, to increase their chances of collectively finding their numbers, they would need a better strategy. The students could use something called the loop strategy. Once entering the classroom, they should go directly towards the box that had their number on top of it. The number inside probably wouldn't be their number, but that's okay. They should check the number inside the box and go look for the box with that same number on top of it, and so on and so forth. They should keep doing this until they find the slip with their number on it. This strategy means that 31% of the time, all students would be able to find their number and win the prize. It's not a huge probability, but hey, at least they'll have fun trying to figure all of this out.
Detective Callum was investigating a new mysterious case. He was looking for clues in the attic of an old mansion when he suddenly heard a click. That's right, he got stuck inside. But it got worse. The room started to get filled with water. How can Detective Callum escape? Do you see the ball? It floats in the water, so the detective should just hold on to it. And when the water level gets high enough to reach that window in the ceiling, he'll just need to open it and escape. Now, you will turn into a detective yourself. I'll show you some pictures, and you'll need to find some proof to confirm certain facts. For example, this. Haley lives in college and rents an apartment. One day, her mother comes to visit. She has suspicions that Haley lives with a boyfriend. Look at her apartment attentively. Can you figure out if she lives alone or with someone? Okay, there are a few clues here. First, look at the number of shoes. Way too many for one person, and some of them are men's shoes. And then there's a calendar on the wall with stickers. Some say Haley, and others say Brian. So there's definitely a Brian in this house. Mrs. Miller grounded her daughter Geneva for not doing well at school. The girl was supposed to stay home and study all the time. On the weekend, Mrs. Miller had a night shift at work. When she returned home on a Sunday morning, she peeked into Geneva's room. Can you figure out if the girl studied last night or not? There's a bowl with popcorn leftovers on the floor and 4 glasses. She definitely had some friends over. Jennifer rented out her guest house, and she specifically mentioned that pets weren't allowed to stay there. Still, she regularly heard some barking at night and started to suspect that her tenant had gotten a dog. One day she went to check the guest house. Do you think a dog lives here? Look at those chewed shoes. I bet it wasn't a person who did this. Ben sells milk. He has a big pot full of milk, and he wants to make sure that he can send any amount of gallons of milk a customer would want. He can only buy 4 jars of different capacities. What should be the capacities of the jars to make sure he can measure any whole amount of milk from 1 gallon to 40? Where there should be 1 jar of 1 gallon capacity, so we get this one. Now, if someone wants to get 2 gallons, we don't need to have a 2-gallon jar. We can have a 3-gallon jar, fill it in, and pour 1 gallon into a 1-gallon jar. The rest will be 2 gallons. Now, the customer who wants 3 gallons is covered too. 4 gallons will easily be measured by those 2 jars. To get 5 gallons, we can buy a 9-gallon jar, pour out 3 gallons, and then 1 more. Everything from 6 to 13 gallons is covered by these 3 jars too. Now we need 14 gallons. So we can have a jar of 14 gallons plus 13 gallons, which is a 27-gallon jar. We get 14 by filling the 27-gallon jar to the brim and then filling the 9-gallon, 3-gallon, and 1-gallon jars. Using different combinations, any amount from 15 to 40 will be covered too. Oh, phew, that was tough. Let's take a break and solve something easier. All you need to do is think outside the box. Here's a sequence of numbers. Take a look. The question is, what comes next? It's not as difficult as it might seem. The next one up is a comma. I am found in the sea, but I perish in water. What is it? It's salt. 3 men, Jack, John, and James, were on a boat trip. The boat flipped over, but only 2 men got their hair wet. How is it possible? Well, one of the men was bald. 7 men were standing at a bus stop, waiting for a bus. Well, that figures. They tried to fit under one umbrella, and none of them got wet. How is it possible? Well, it simply wasn't raining. Now, how about some matchstick puzzles? Here's the first one. Move one matchstick to make it correct. You just need to move this one and turn minus into plus, like this. Let me know if you came up with another solution. Okay, here's the next equation for you. And again, you can only move one matchstick. The solution is similar. We turn 8 into 6 and minus into plus. Did you get it right? Great job! And here's the next one. As always, you can only move one matchstick. What's your call? Now we should turn plus into minus, just like this. Okay, 2 more of these. Ready? This one is easy. Can you get it right? Yes, of course. Great job! And now, the last one of these puzzles for you. The numbers are bigger, the stakes are higher. Let's see if you can get it right. Okay, this is the solution. Did you get it right? Moving on. Esme was having her casual walk in the forest. She always got lost in that forest, and it happened yet again. But luckily, she found the house of the witch, who was already her good acquaintance. Esme asked the witch to take her home, but the witch wouldn't let her go without a task. I want to play chess with you, but it won't be just a regular chess game. We will have superpowers. One of us will get the mind-reading ability, and the other will get the ability to see the future.
Oh my god.
You can choose your superpower first. Which superpower should Esme choose if she wants to have the best chances? Esme should choose mind reading. To figure out why, let's see how a chess player thinks. A chess player sees several possible moves. They're called candidate moves. For each of those moves, the player thinks of the possible responses of the opponent. The player judges which are good and which are bad, and then also thinks of their next move. So, the depth of strategic thinking and the ability to choose the best moves are what determines the winner. Now, if Esme has a mind-reading ability, She can see all the strategic calculations of the witch. Now, there are 3 possible outcomes. The first one is if Esme is a better player than the witch. Then she will easily win. The second one is if the witch is a better chess player. In this case, Esme can take advantage of the fact that she can read the witch's calculations of the game and her judgment on which moves are good and which are not. So Esme can then just go with the moves that the witch thinks are the best for Esme to make. So Esme will be able to finish the game in a draw. The third case is if they're equally good. In this case, they can also end the game in a draw. In this case, Esme chooses to read the future. She will know the witch's next move, but she won't have access to the witch's reasoning and calculations. She'll have to go with her own judgment. So if Esme is a better player, she'll win. If they are equally good, the game will end in a draw. But if the witch is a better player, then the witch will win. So choosing the mind-reading ability is a safer bet. Let me know if you have another solution. See you later!
Kitty and Jacob are best friends. They meet downtown late at night to hang out. Suddenly, they spot something weird on this street. Can you also see it? A creepy zombie is hiding in this trash can. The zombie spots the guys and starts chasing them. Kitty and Jacob run towards the nearest shopping mall. It's closed and empty. Luckily, the door has a combination lock and the guys find a note with a hint. They try to enter this code, but it's too long. They need a 6-digit combination. Can you help them crack this code? They should literally enter 1, 9, 2, 3, 5, 4. Voila! Kitty and Jacob manage to open the door and hide inside the mall. They land in the food court and notice 2 boxes with identical salmon rolls. The guys are very hungry, so each grabs a box and eats some rolls. Suddenly, Kitty gets sick and faints, but Jacob feels fine. Why? The poison was in the wasabi. Kitty ate almost the entire wasabi portion, while Jacob didn't even open his package. Jacob hides Kitty in the storage room. He runs to the medical office hoping to find some help. Oh no! Zombies have already sneaked into the food court. Jacob can use one of these 3 items for protection: a bucket, a knife, or a tray. Can you help him choose the best option? This bucket can protect his head from attacks, but Jacob won't be able to see anything. This plastic knife is useless. It's too small and fragile. Jacob should grab the tray and use it as a shield. Jacob breaks through the zombies, and now he needs to go downstairs. There are 3 possible ways. Option 1, the main staircase surrounded by the zombies. Option 2, an old empty elevator. And 3, an escalator. Can you help him choose the best way out? Jacob can't fight so many zombies alone, so the first option is excluded. As for the second variant, we don't know if this elevator works. Jacob should choose the third option. First of all, this way is free of zombies. Even if the escalator is out of power, Jacob will still manage to go downstairs. Jacob reaches the floor he needs, but unfortunately, this area is occupied by a mad robot. Jacob needs to hide as soon as possible because the robot is approaching. There are 3 stores nearby. Can you help him find the best shelter? This furniture store is too big and complex. It can hide a bunch of dangers. The second option is too transparent. There's nowhere to hide in this makeup store. That's why Jacob should choose the clothing store. He can pretend to be a mannequin and outsmart the robot. Luckily, the robot didn't notice Jacob and passed by. But here comes another danger. Jacob hears creepy sounds from the dressing room. He should leave the store as soon as possible. Can you help him choose the best direction? Jacob can't go upstairs. The zombies are waiting for him. Neither can he run down the hall because of the mad robot. But the candy shop is just around the corner. Jacob should hide there and grab some snacks. He's gonna need some extra energy. Bingo! It's a 2-story candy shop. Jacob runs downstairs and reaches the ground floor. He sees 3 doors. The first one leads to the parking lot, but it's locked. The second one is open, but we can see a creepy shadow behind it. The third door isn't locked, but there's a wet floor sign in front of it. Can you help Jacob choose the best passage? He should pick the third option. The shopping mall has been closed for a while now, so the floors are probably no longer wet. Jacob enters the third door and finds himself in the middle of a parking lot. He needs to pass by one of these 3 cars to escape from the zombies. Which way is more or less safe? The red car is open. A zombie could be hiding inside it. No thanks. The blue car's headlights are on. The zombies might notice Jacob's shadow if he passes by that car. As for the yellow car, look! Someone left a key in the door, so that's the best option. Jacob starts the third car and hits the road, but he has a strange feeling that he forgot something. Oh no, Kitty! Jacob turns around and stops the car near the mall. He spots Kitty on the balcony right away. Meanwhile, the zombies surround his car. There are 3 possible ways to climb to the balcony: an old fire escape, a bunch of wooden boxes, or a rope provided by Kitty. Which way is more or less safe? The fire escape is right next to the windows with zombies. Jacob won't make it to the top. The second option is dangerous too. A zombie is hiding in one of the wooden boxes. Jacob should climb the rope. Kitty can help him climb up faster, and he'll be able to kick the zombies if they attack him on the way. Jacob reaches the balcony. Luckily, Kitty is fine. She says, "There's a helicopter on the roof at the opposite side of the mall. We can try to escape by air." There are 3 passages they can use to reach the helicopter: the local seafood restaurant, a costume shop, or a pet store. Which way is more or less safe? The guy should choose the costume shop. They can put on some zombie masks and blend in with the zombie crowd. Jacob and Kitty break into the costume shop. Can you spot anything odd here? This false beard is moving on its own. This place must be haunted. Jacob and Kitty keep on walking. There are 3 possible routes to choose from. 2 guards bitten by zombies are lying unconscious in the first passage. The second route has some pots with mutant plants that feed on humans. And the third route leads through a coffee shop infested with vampires. Which way is more or less safe? The first passage is too dangerous. The guards can turn into zombies and attack. It's nighttime, so dealing with vampires is a bad idea. Jacob and Kitty should put on some rubber suits to protect their bodies from the plants and use the second passage. The guys manage to break through the plants and run to the roof door, but unfortunately, it's locked. The door requires a 13-digit combination. They don't see any numbers or letters, only these colored buttons on the door. What should they do? Jacob and Kitty should pay attention to this poster on the wall. It has 5 strawberries, 3 bananas, 2 oranges, 1 green apple, and 2 eggplants, which is 13 in total. They should press the red button 5 times, then press the yellow one 3 times, the orange one 2 times, and the green button 1 time, and the purple button 2 times. Yay! The guys open the door. They run to the roof and face 2 zombies, but one of them is fake. Can you guess which one? The first lady is pretty transparent, so she's the fake zombie because she's a ghost. Jacob and Kitty push the zombie away and climb into the helicopter. They fly to the local city shelter. Can you spot anything odd here? It's nighttime, so we can see the moon. And it's okay, but the sun shouldn't be in the sky at this hour. The guys almost made it to the shelter, but they run out of fuel, so they have to land next to the building instead of the roof. The building is surrounded by a high fence with only 3 entrances. The first one is guarded by a zombie. A mad robot hangs out at the second door, and the third entrance is guarded by a vampire. Can you help them choose the safest option? Jacob and Kitty should use the third entrance. Take a look at the sky. It's almost dawn. The vampire will have to leave his post soon. Neil was one of the best watchmakers in town. He got a call from the police station one day, asking him for help to solve a crime. 2 burglars were caught robbing shops in town. Amongst the things they stole, there were 2 watches. One of the burglars claimed that the watch they stole was a fake, so the police contacted Neil to see if that was really true. Take a look at both watches. Can you help Neil figure out which one is fake and which one is real? The watch on the left is a fake. If you look closely, you'll see that the miniature arm is too long, so it can't pass around the entire clock when it moves. Maya was an undercover police officer. On a Saturday night, she was off duty and decided to go to the movies. When she arrived, she saw 2 women who looked pretty suspicious. She remembered that the police were tracking down a girl who had escaped from prison the week before. Take a look at both women. Can you tell if one has escaped prison recently? It's the lady on the left. Her prison uniform is peeking through her coat. I mean, she should have at least changed clothes by now, right? Beth arrived at school and one of her best friends showed her a picture. She told Beth that if she got the answer correctly, she would get a week's supply of free chocolate. The friend said that one of the people in the picture wasn't human. Can you help Beth figure out the answer? It's the boy in the middle. He doesn't have a shadow, which means he's definitely not human. Ruby was traveling around India when she decided to stop for some tea. As soon as she walked inside the tea shop, the owner placed 2 teapots in front of her. He told her she would get a free cup of tea if she could figure out his riddle. He told her that the first teapot contained enough tea for 40 cups and asked to figure out, just by looking at the pot, how many cups of tea it could carry inside. Take a look at the image. Can you help Ruby figure out the answer? This is a tricky one. Probably the second teapot can only carry around 20 cups of tea. If you look closely, you'll see that the outlets of the first teapot is located in the middle of the pot. But the outlet of the second pot is located right at the bottom, so even if the pot is taller, it can't hold more water than the first one. After water hits the level of the outlet, it'll just start overflowing. Mary was walking in an enchanted forest when she met Randy, a magical unicorn. Mary asked the unicorn for some information, but he refused to talk to her unless she solved one of his riddles. He was a trickster and liked confusing people with his riddles. He told Mary that in a nearby field there were tigers and sheep. Usually one tiger could catch 3 sheep in 3 minutes. So he asked her how long it would take for 100 tigers to catch 100 sheep. Can you help Mary figure out the answer? It would still take 3 minutes because each tiger is still catching 1 sheep in 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's 3 tigers or 100. The unicorn was surprised by Mary's abilities and gave her another riddle to solve. He asked her to name the 5 days of the week without saying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. She also couldn't say whether it was the first day of the week or the last. What do you think Mary answered here? She said the day before yesterday, yesterday, today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. Clever girl, huh? Brianna was traveling on business, and her company put her in one of the best hotels in town. She arrived from work late at night, exhausted. She was getting ready to go to bed when she heard a knock on the door. When she looked through the peephole, she saw a man standing outside. The man said he was sorry for bothering her, but the hotel database had crashed and he needed to recheck some of her information. Brianna said she would be back in a moment, got away from the door, and called security. She said there was someone in the hotel trying to rob her. Take a look at the image. How did she know the man was a robber? Look at the man's name tag. It's a female name. He is surely not the real hotel manager. Luca decided to throw a party for his best friends. He invited over 20 people to the party, but he only bought 9 candies. He told his friends he would leave the candies inside a pretty little box, and they could each get 1 candy. 9 people took 9 candies, but 1 candy was still in the box. How could that be possible? It's pretty simple. The last person took the candy and the box. This way, 1 candy remained in the box. Noah reported to the police that someone had stolen his red motorbike the previous night, right out of his garage. The police started to search for it and tracked 3 main suspects. Take a look at them. Which one stole Noah's motorbike? It's this guy on the right. Look closely. His motorbike is painted, but the paint is dripping and one can spot the old red color. He must have stolen it and painted it in a different color so as not to attract any attention. But you caught him. It's the finale of the Big Money Buzz Show, and Natalie is faced with a difficult task. There are 3 fish bowls, each one of them containing a different amount of gold bars inside. If she manages to put her hand inside one of the bowls and take it out, she can keep the gold bar. The first bowl has scalding hot water inside of it. The second is filled with flesh-burning acid. And the last bowl has a couple of venomous scorpions walking around. Which bowl should she choose? Natalie should just wait until the water cools down and grab the gold bar from the first bowl. Smart, huh? Bobby was blindfolded and put into a shaky van. When he woke up, he was alone in a dark, empty room. There was nobody there, but there were 3 envelopes on the floor. A post-it on top of the envelope said, "Each envelope contains a red capsule and 2 statements. In one of these envelopes, both statements are false. In another envelope, both statements are true. You have to choose the correct capsule to get out of this alive." He opened the first envelope, saw a capsule and the message, 1. Don't eat this candy. 2. Take the candy from the second envelope. On the second envelope, the note said, 1. Don't take the candy from the first envelope. 2. Take the candy from the third envelope. And the last envelope said, 1. Don't eat this candy. 2. Take the candy from the first envelope. Which capsule should Bobby take? He should trust the candy from the third envelope. Let's see why. The first message of the first envelope is true, while the second is false. Both messages from the second envelope are true. This leaves us with 2 false statements on the third envelope. The manager of a gift shop got a call from the police station. The police told him there was a burglar on the loose. He dressed up as the Joker and was robbing local shops. But since it was Halloween, a lot of people were walking dressed up as the Joker. At that moment, 4 Jokers entered the shop. The manager got suspicious, so he made the people stand in a line while he examined which one of them was the criminal. Take a look at the image. Can you guess which Joker is the real thief? The thief is the second Joker on the left. Take a look at his shoes. They're much bigger than the other shoes. He must be hiding something inside of it.
Well, have you been looking for a chance to put on your detective hat? Well, here you go. A new portion of tricky riddles to sharpen your mind.
Yeah.
Melissa met her guests who came to her birthday party. Catherine came before Bob, Aaron after Rainan. Bob arrived before Rainan, and Timothy came after Aaron. So, which guest arrived last? Timothy was the last one to come. Now let's say you have 2 jugs. One of them holds exactly 3 gallons of water and the other holds 5 gallons. With the help of just these 2 jugs and a fire hose, how can you measure out exactly 4 gallons of water? Fill the 5-gallon jug to the top. Then pour it into the 3-gallon jug until it's full. You now have 2 gallons of water remaining in the 5-gallon jug. Pour out the water from the 3-gallon jug and then pour the 2 gallons from the 5-gallon jug into the 3-gallon one. Finally, fill the 5-gallon jug to the top and pour it into the 3-gallon jug until it's full. There was only enough space left for 1 more gallon in the 3-gallon jug, so you now have exactly 4 gallons in the 5-gallon jug. Look at this image attentively and try to find a mistake. There's no river on the other side of the bridge. Where does it disappear? Now, look at these men very closely. Can you figure out which of them is a fake doctor? The doctor on the left may be wearing casual clothes, but he has his badge on, which probably means he was called to work urgently and didn't have time to change. He's also holding a stethoscope. The doctor in the middle is holding a spoon. But even though it looks suspicious, he has just given a child patient some cough syrup. You can also see a badge on his uniform. As for the man on the right, he's not a doctor. There's no badge on his uniform. And if you examine him more attentively, you'll notice the police uniform under his white coat. He's most likely a police officer undercover. Christy poured herself a full cup of tea and drank half of it. Then she filled the cup with milk. Then she drank half of the drink again. Then she refilled it with milk again and drank the rest of it. Can you figure out if Christy drank more tea or more milk? She drank the same amount of tea and milk. Look, Christy ended up drinking all her tea since the cup was eventually empty. Christy refilled the milk 2 times, and every time it was half a cup of milk, totally a full cup of milk. Deceptor, a famous magician, announced that he could throw a ping-pong ball in such a way that it would go a short distance, come to a complete stop, and go in the opposite direction. He also clarified that he wouldn't bounce the ball off of any object or tie anything to it. And indeed, he managed to perform the trick. How did he do it? He threw the ball straight up into the air. Can you name 4 days of the week that start with the letter T? These days are Tuesday, Thursday, today, and tomorrow. Now, listen up. All statements are true except one. 3 days ago was not Friday. The day after tomorrow will be Saturday. Tomorrow is not Wednesday. In 5 days, it's a day off. Yesterday was not Saturday. So the question is, what day of the week is today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday? It's Thursday. Let's see how we can figure it out. 3 days ago was not Friday. If this statement is true, then today is not Monday. The day after tomorrow will be Saturday. If it's true, then today is Thursday. Tomorrow is not Wednesday. Then today is not Tuesday. It's a day off in 5 days. If this statement was true, today would be Monday or Tuesday. But in this case, the statement contradicts the first and third ones. It must be false. Yesterday was not Saturday. It means that today is not Sunday. Based on all this, we can conclude that today is Thursday. There were 2 plastic jugs filled with water. Can you put all the water into one barrel without using any dividers and still tell which water comes from which jug? You can do it by freezing the water in one or both jugs and then cutting the plastic away, leaving only the ice. After that, you can put the chunks of ice into the barrel. This way, you'll be able to tell which water comes from which jug. A farmer in Florida owns a beautiful pear tree. He supplies fruit to a nearby grocery store. One day, the store owner calls the farmer to check how much fruit is available for him to buy. The farmer knows that the main trunk has 24 branches. Each branch has 12 boughs, and each bough has 6 twigs. Since each twig bears 1 piece of fruit, how many plums will the farmer be able to sell? Unfortunately, none. At least not from this tree. A pear tree doesn't produce plums. You have 5 jars with pills. Each pill weighs 10 grams, except for contaminated pills contained in one jar. There, each pill weighs 9 grams. You have a scale, but can you tell which jar has the contaminated pills after making just one measurement? To find the contaminated pills, you should follow the following steps. Take out 1 pill from jar number 1, 2 pills from jar number 2, 3 pills from jar number 3, 4 pills from jar number 4, and 5 pills from jar number 5. Put all these 15 pills on the scale. The correct weight should be 150 grams. But since one of the jars has contaminated pills, the weight will definitely be less than 150 grams. If the weight is 149 grams, then jar number 1 has the contaminated pills, because there is only one pill like that. If the weight is 148 grams, then the contaminated pills are in jar number 2. If the weight is 147 grams, the contaminated pills are in jar number 3, and so on. Many years ago, one guy was captured by an evil witch who kept him in her house. There was a cellar door in the house, and the witch warned the guy not to open it because he was not ready to see what was behind it. Can you guess what was on the other side of the door that the witch didn't want the guy to see? The guy was actually locked in the cellar, and on the other side of the door was the rest of the house and the outside world. The witch just didn't want the guy to escape. One day, a boss told his employees, "I can fight and beat any man who works here." A new employee, a tall ex-prize fighter, decided to challenge the boss. Interestingly, the boss won the bet, even though he didn't defeat the man. What did the boss do? Not to lose face, he fired the new employee on the spot. This way, when he defeated the boss, he wasn't working in the company anymore. Marty and Jill wanted to copy 3 60-minute tapes. They have 2 tape recorders that will dub the tapes for them, so they can do 2 at a time. It takes 30 minutes for each side to complete. Therefore, in 1 hour, 2 tapes will be completed, and in another hour, the third will be done. Jill says all 3 tapes can be finished in 90 minutes. Can you figure out how it is possible? Let's call the tapes 1, 2, and 3 with sides A and B. In the first 30 minutes, the guys will work with 1A and 2A. In the second 30 minutes, they will record 1B and 3A. Now, tape 1 is completed. Finally, in the last half hour, they will do tape 2B and 3B. Becky and her mom decided to travel to New York City for the holidays. They spent the day sightseeing and arrived exhausted back at the hotel. They got inside the elevator and pressed their floor number. When the elevator came to a stop, they got out and headed straight to their room. When they tried opening the door with their key card, it wouldn't work. Becky's mom went down to the reception to get a new key card, while Becky waited by the door outside the room. But when Mom arrived back at the room, Becky was nowhere to be found. Look at the image. Can you guess where Becky was? The whole thing was a big misunderstanding. Becky and her mom got off on the wrong floor. That's why, when they tried opening the hotel door with their keycard, it wouldn't work. It took them a while to figure that out, though. Poor things, they must have been really exhausted. Now Amy found herself in the middle of a burning room. There was fire all around her, and she needed an escape route. The room had no doors or no windows. There was nothing to climb or stand on. Even so, in a matter of seconds, Amy was in the front yard and had escaped the fire completely. How did she manage to escape? The room had no doors, so she simply escaped through the doorway. A detective got an anonymous email about an upcoming heist in one of Chicago's museums. To stop it from happening, he needed to figure out the month the heist was planned for. The police asked their cybersecurity team to trace down the computers that sent the email, but the sender knew how to protect his IP. All they could find was a combination of symbols. Look at these symbols and see if you can figure out the month the heist is going to happen. I know, they look so random. But let's see. A jar stands for J, a ukulele stands for U, a nugget stands for N, and an eggplant stands for E. It's June, y'all! Now Peter here is being blamed for stealing a ring at a fancy jewelry store. He posted a bunch of pictures online with the ring, and the police tracked him down. When he was interrogated, he said that the ring belonged to his late wife. He even showed the police a picture of his wife wearing the ring. Look at the picture. Can you figure out if Peter is lying? Sure, he is lying. I mean, how could the ring fit both his and his wife's fingers? Unless she had really fat fingers. Mr. Finks is a science teacher, and he prepared a challenge for his students. He grabbed 2 bottles and filled them with different types of water. The first bottle was filled with hot water, and the second bottle was filled with normal temperature water. He asked his students which water would cool down first and promised an A to whoever managed to figure that out. Can you take a guess? The hot water bottle is going to cool down first because hot water has lower density. They have to be cooled down using the same exact method though, like with the help of a fridge, for example. Who knew, huh? Lucy's mom has 3 daughters. Her firstborn is Mandy, a successful entrepreneur. Her secondborn is Sarah, who is just finishing her PhD. Can you figure out who is the last daughter? It's Lucy. Duh, we started the whole thing talking about Lucy's mom. Dr. Mallory was doing a study with some of his patients. For his next study, he called 2 young boys. First, he collected their data, names, date of birth, height, and weight. Then he put them in a room together. He told them that he would leave them alone for the next 5 hours without anything but a jar of juice. He told them they could not drink the juice and neither talk to one another. When he came back after 5 hours, one of the boys had drunk the juice. He asked them which one of them had done it, but none of them admitted to being the culprit. How could the doctor find out who drank the juice? Well, that's simple. He could weigh both boys and see if their weight had any alterations. The boy who showed alterations was the one who drank the juice. Ashton, Barbara, and Luke are best friends. Once a year, they get together to do something adventurous. This year, they decided to go skydiving. They boarded the plane and were about to jump. But, uh-oh, someone's in danger. Can you guess who? It's Ashton. Look at his backpack. He's wearing a regular backpack instead of the proper skydiving one. He must have gotten distracted when they were dressing up. Taylor hosts a game night at her place every Wednesday with her friends. She prepares beverages and finger food for everyone. That night, she even bought a new set of cards for them to play their favorite game. Every player must draw 2 cards, and then they count who gets the highest sum. But during the first round, they noticed that the number 6 card was missing. They all revealed their cards, and indeed, there was no number 6. After a few minutes, Taylor started laughing, saying she had found the card. Take a peek at the image. Can you guess where the card is? It's right there. That card is not a 9, it's a 6. It was just turned upside down. Ricky has made a career of busting myths. One day, he got a call from a neighborhood watch saying there was some spooky activity going on in the town's abandoned manor. Neighbors complained about hearing screams. and one person even said they saw a ghost in a clown costume. Ricky went to check it out. Inside, he traced the noises all the way to the attic. The first thing he found was a broken music speaker, replaying the same part of an old song. Then he saw a clown costume in an open closet. Below the costume, there was a can of spray paint. Ricky gathered 3 suspects and interviewed them to find out who was trying to spook the entire neighborhood. Freddie, an independent filmmaker, said he was out of town to shoot a movie. Bianca, a local teacher, said she was terrified of abandoned places and would never put on a joke like that. Gabriel, an artist, said he was putting on his new show and didn't have time to fool around like that. Look at the suspects. Can you find out who is the culprit? Is Bianca. The rim of her pants is tainted red, just like the spray paint that Ricky found in the attic. She must have forgotten one of her cans when she broke into the manor. Mimi was exploring Egyptian caves when she found a shiny gold lamp. She rubbed the lamp 3 times, like in most stories, and she couldn't believe her eyes when she saw a genie coming out of it. The genie said that he worked a bit differently from the other genies. To grant her 3 wishes, she had to first answer one of his riddles correctly. He asked her, if 11 plus 3 equals 2, how much is 8 plus 6 equal to? She needed a watch for this one. 11 o'clock plus 3 equals 2 o'clock. 8 o'clock plus 6 equals 2 o'clock too. That's a lot of 2s. 3 friends, Jim, Alex, and Chris, pick hats from a box. In the box, there are 2 black hats and 1 white hat. Jim sees the hats on Alex and Chris. Alex only sees Chris's hat, and Chris can't see any hats. When asked if they know the colors of their hats, Jim and Alex both say no. Chris confidently says that he knows his hat is black. How has he figured it out? Here's how it works. Jim's no means there's at least 1 black hat between Alex and Chris. Alex says no too, indicating that he sees a black hat on Chris. If it was white, Alex would know he's wearing the black since there's only 1 white hat. So Chris is sure that his hat is black. No magic or tricks, just logic. Detective Sue finds herself entangled in a case involving the theft of precious diamonds from a vault fortified with high security measures. The list of suspects is diverse. There's a janitor, a security guard, even the CEO. Who is the thief? The thief is the janitor. Even in a high-security vault, the diamonds should still remain dust-free. The janitor's role involves cleaning them, so he had access to the jewels. On a chilly, wintry day, a figure stood in the center of someone's front yard. This individual remained in place for several weeks without any movement, and the yard's owner didn't mind it. Eventually, this person was gone. Who was he? It was a snowman. Meet Vampire Vlad. He invites his close nocturnal friends for a one-of-a-kind dinner gathering. Interestingly, the dinner party takes place during the daytime. All of his vampire companions accept the invitation without questioning it, and they arrive without encountering any problems. How on earth is this possible? Well, it turns out Vlad is the master of planning. He chose to host his vampire friends during a solar eclipse. Vampire Vlad has another story to puzzle you. One day, he found himself on a remote island. There seemed to be no humans there. To his relief, he stumbled upon a thriving garden filled with garlic. Vlad smiled with contentment. Garlic is dangerous for vampires. Then why did he laugh? That garlic garden implied the presence of a skilled gardener on the island. There was a human somewhere around. This discovery kindled Vlad's hope of a future food source. Here's the last one of the vampire-themed puzzles. In a quaint village, 3 individuals cast shadows, but one claims to be a vampire. The townsfolk wonder which of these 3 is the true vampire. Well, who is the vampire? The vampire is the one whose shadow behaves weirdly. While regular human shadows mimic people's movements, the vampire's shadow moves independently. Look, the human shadows synchronize with their steps, but the vampire shadow has a mind of its own. Steve met a tragic fate on a Saturday afternoon. His wife claims she was in the shower at that time. The chef says he was making breakfast, and the gardener was busy pruning hedges. Who is the likely criminal? It's the chef.
Uh-oh.
The whole thing happened in the afternoon, but the chef said that he had been making breakfast. At a carnival, a boy made a bet with a man. The man said he could write the boy's exact weight on a piece of paper. If he succeeded, the boy would give him $50. If not, the boy would get $50. The boy thought he could always say he weighed more or less, so he agreed. However, in the end, the boy had to pay the man $50. How did the man win? The man wrote your exact weight on the paper, and that was exactly what he said he would do. A person finds themselves confined in a room with 2 possible escape routes. The initial exit is an arrangement of magnifying glasses that scorch anything passing through, because the sun is scorching. The second exit is guarded by a fire-spewing dragon, which is merciless to intruders. How can the captive make their escape? They should wait until nightfall when the sun is down and then make a dash through the first exit. A criminal has been sentenced to face a fatal fate, and he is given a choice to meet his end in one of 3 rooms: a room engulfed in a blazing fire, a room occupied by assassins, or a room inhabited by lions that haven't eaten a meal in years. Which room should he select? He should opt for the room with the lions. If they haven't eaten in years, they aren't alive anymore. Once, a magician bragged about being able to hold his breath underwater for 6 minutes. A kid overheard this and exclaimed, "And I can do 10 minutes with no gear." The magician bet $10,000. Oddly, the kid won. Do you know how? She was just holding a glass of water above her head for 10 minutes. A monkey, a squirrel, and a bird are having a race to the tip of a ginormous coconut tree, all of them eyeing a delicious banana at the top. Who's going to be the lucky winner here? The monkey, the squirrel, or the bird? Oh please, the answer is none of them, because bananas don't grow on coconut trees. There are 5 apples in a basket and 5 people in the room. Each person takes one apple. Yet in the end, one apple is left in the basket. How come? The last person took an apple together with the basket. There's a person who lives on the 14th floor of a building. When they take the elevator downstairs, they stop at the first floor. When they go upstairs, they only go to the 10th floor. And after that, they use the stairs the rest of the way. But here's the twist. When they're in the elevator with someone else, or when it's raining, they go straight to the 14th floor. So what's the deal with this weird behavior? This person is a child. They can't reach the 14th floor button. When it's raining, this kid has an umbrella and can use it to press the button. And when they're with someone else, this other person can press the button for them. A driver goes the wrong way on a one-way street, but when he passes a few cops, they don't stop him. Why? Because he's walking, not driving. Two fathers and two sons go to the mall and then return home in a car. However, when they get out of the car at home, only 3 people exit. How is it possible? Did they forget someone at the mall? Well, it's because we've got 3 generations here: a grandfather, a father, and a son. So even though there are 2 fathers and 2 sons, there are only 3 individuals. A couple went on a 3-week-long vacation, taking great care to secure their home and asking a neighbor to look after it during their absence. Upon their return, the wife discovered that her valuable jewelry was gone. How did it happen? She had hidden her precious jewelry inside the freezer in a bag with frozen food. But during their absence, there was a power outage. The frozen food went bad, and the neighbor, trying to be helpful, threw away the spoiled food. Bye-bye, jewelry! Imagine finding yourself in a pitch-black room. You have just a matchbox, a candle, and a lamp. You have only one match. The question is, what should you light first? Easy peasy. You light the match first. Think of an 8-letter word that remains a valid word even when you remove one letter at a time until only one letter is left. It's almost impossible to guess, but give it a try. The word is starting. You can take away letters one by one like this: starting, staring, string, sting, sing, sin, in, and finally I. Did you find those tough? Let me know in the comments.
Monica decided to go on a solo vacation to Brazil. She was strolling along a deserted beach when some magical sea creature caught her by surprise. It took her to a cave at the bottom of the ocean, took all her stuff, and left her there. To escape, she had to go through one of 3 tunnels. The first tunnel had sharks swimming all over it. The second tunnel had poisonous underwater snakes. And the third tunnel had a pirate shipwreck. Which tunnel should she choose to go through? She should pick the third tunnel. Sure, it's a pirate ship, but it's already sunk and it won't pose any real threats. Anna decided to throw a costume party and invited all her friends. Two couples decided to dress up as vampires, but one of these couples is made of real vampires. Take a look at the image. Can you tell me which one? It's the second couple. They are vampires. They don't have any reflection in the mirror, do they? On a murky water day, Jason woke up confused. He had bumped his head into a coral reef and woke up in another underwater kingdom. 3 mermaids took him in and helped him get better. When he finally opened his eyes and asked who they were, they all said they were his wife. Take a look at the image. Can you tell which mermaid is telling the truth? If you look closely, the third mermaid to the right is wearing a shellfish ring similar to the one that Jason is wearing. This must mean she's his real wife, and the other 2 mermaids were lying. In the Wizardry School of Ninth, students are getting ready for a philosophy test. They're pretty good at doing magic, but they haven't developed their theoretical skills too much. The teacher, Mrs. Woodland, prepared a relatively easy first question for them. It asked, "What is the phrase that makes you happy when you're sad and sad when you're happy?" The correct answer is, "It will be over soon." Yikes! On the same day of that test, Mandeline had a potion test. She was extremely nervous since she could never get the very difficult spells correctly. She got to the classroom and the teacher had left a few potion bottles for her to label. Take a look at the bottles and the tags. Can you tell which bottle is which? Our first clue lies in the bottles themselves. The first bottle is for the freezing potion. It freezes anything it gets into contact with. The second bottle carries a potion for making people stronger. The third bottle makes people feel sick. Ew! The fourth bottle is the one for finding eternal love. And the last bottle with the frog is for turning frogs into princes. I quite like these potions. On Amy's graduation day, her mother introduced her to a few eligible bachelors. She really wanted her daughter to find a new love, since she had recently broken up with her college sweetheart. She talked with the guys who all said they were training to be airplane pilots, but she figured out one of them was lying. How could she tell? Take a look at the first guy. He's wearing glasses, which means he can't be a pilot. Pilots need to have perfect eyesight. James, a father of 4, went to work, leaving a $50 bill on the kitchen table for his oldest daughter, Quinn, to go shopping. When he got home, there was no food. Quinn said she hadn't been able to go shopping because he hadn't left any money. James asked his other 3 kids to come down and question them. Beverly said she saw the money on the table but didn't touch it. Kenneth said she opened the window and put the money under the book so it wouldn't fly away. Owen said he'd put the bill inside the book between pages 57 and 58. Can you tell who's lying? Owen is lying. He couldn't put the money between pages 57 and 58 because they're the 2 sides of the same page. Cindy was playing with her time machine when she opened a portal to another dimension. The portal took her to a sorcerer's house in the middle of nowhere. The sorcerer was so powerful that she closed Cindy's portal and Cindy was stuck there. The sorcerer proposed that they play a game. She said she had 2 cards in her hand, one that said free and another that said stay. Cindy could pick only one card. If she got the one with free written on it, she'd go back home. But if she picked the one with the word stay, she'd stay forever. But the sorcerer was such a trickster that she changed both cards to stay. Even so, Cindy managed to be freed by the sorcerer, beating her at her own game. How did she do it? Cindy anticipated what the sorcerer would do, so as soon as she picked the first card, she threw it in the fire, saying it was by mistake. That way, the sorcerer would have to show her the remaining card was stay, which meant that the one she had burnt had to be the card with free written on it. Way to go, Cindy! After Colton was shipwrecked, he found himself on a deserted island. Luckily, he still had his pills with him. There are 2 blue pills and 2 red ones. He needs to take 1 red pill and 1 blue pill, but his eyesight was severely compromised after the wreck, so he can't tell them both apart. There's nobody around to help him. How can he manage it? Colton should break each of the 4 pills into half and eat 4 halves of each. This way, he'll take exactly 1 red and 1 blue. Last week, Sophia attended the town's much-anticipated masquerade ball. She chose to show off her mother's vintage diamond necklace. But during the event, she noticed her necklace was gone. She called a private investigator immediately and asked him to bring her diamond necklace back, whatever it cost her. Very quickly, the investigator gathered 3 suspects. Kate, the one with the blue mask, says she spent most of the evening in the garden. Bianca, wearing the green mask, insists she was in the bathroom when the theft occurred. Jake, with the silver mask, says that he only noticed Sophia's necklace was missing after he came back from the bar. The investigator immediately knew who was lying and recovered the diamond necklace. Can you figure it out too? How did Jake know the exact moment the necklace went missing? It must have been him. Plus, take a look at his pocket. It looks like there's some triangular-shaped object in there, doesn't it? Luke was an adventurer, and on his latest trip, he went to Vietnam. There, he came across an ancient treasure map. The map led him to a remote island where a legendary treasure was said to be hidden. But the treasure's location was protected by a series of cryptic symbols. He needed to find it to unlock the treasure. Take a look at the encoded message that appeared and help Luke figure out a pattern that will take him to the treasure. The message said, "Carrot, sun, astronaut, filled, you, room." This wasn't so tricky, huh? The key to answering this one is noticing the pattern. The letters in capitals are the ones that make up the password. So, the correct password is Ray. The other words are just there to confuse you. Way to go, Luke! One of these girls has a pet at home. Can you tell me which one? It's the one in the middle. She's got scratches all over her arm. Audrey lives alone in a condo in Boston. She wakes up in the middle of the night because of the loud music coming from one of her neighbor's apartments. She doesn't know exactly which apartment it comes from. So the next morning, Audrey asks her 3 neighbors what they were doing the night before. Molly says, "I've been playing video games in my headphones all night long, so I didn't hear anything." Peter says, "I was on a plane getting back from Paris. I just returned home a couple of minutes ago after 2 months in France." And Nina says, "I was sleeping after a long shift at work." After hearing their stories, Audrey knows for sure who's a liar. What about you? It's Peter. He said he just returned from France, but look at his table. There are fresh apples lying there. If he had been gone for a month, they would have been rotten by now. Audrey checked her mailbox. Oh no! Bad news! The building where she rents her apartment is about to be demolished. She has only a week to find a new place and move out. Audrey starts searching online, but unfortunately, she forgot the password for her rental website account. She only remembers that this word is a tasty and sweet fruit that can give you a lot of energy. And you can also find it in your calendar. Can you crack the code? The correct password is date.
Yes!
Audrey logs in and scrolls through a bunch of rental listings. Finally, she finds 3 options. Can you help her choose the best apartment? According to the description, the first apartment was built in 1023. Wow, it must be very ancient. Boston didn't even exist then. It's probably a scam. Take a closer look at the couch in the third apartment. Can you see bed bugs? Ew! These nasty guys are not the best roommates. So, Audrey should pick the second apartment.
Okay.
Audrey books this new apartment, but unfortunately, she doesn't have enough savings to provide the requested deposit. She decides to take part in a game show. The winner will get $50,000. Audrey is doing pretty well, and finally, it's time for the last task. Audrey has to put her head in one of these 3 boxes. There are sparking electrical wires in the first one. There's a Venus flytrap in the second box. It's a carnivorous plant. And there are dozens of venomous scorpions in the third box. Can you help Audrey win the prize and stay safe? Audrey should choose the second box. Venus flytraps aren't dangerous for people, only for flies. Yay! Audrey wins the money. Now it's time to pack her boxes and move. Can you spot 3 emojis among her stuff? Here they are. Audrey goes to her favorite coffee shop to have a break. Let's see if you can find 3 emojis in this location. Hello? Audrey is exploring her new neighborhood. Suddenly, she sees something curious. It always runs, but it never walks. What is it? It's a river. David is Audrey's new neighbor. He agrees to help her move. But first, they need to pick up David's son from college. On their way there, David gets an idea.
How about a bet? I'll give you my super expensive carpet if you manage to figure out which student is my son.
Okay.
Audrey agrees. They arrive at the college and see 3 guys waiting at the gates. They all look similar. Can you spot David's son? It's the student on the left. David has the letter L tattooed on his wrist, and the guy is wearing a bracelet with the same letter. Audrey wants to sell her old sofa. She finds 3 potential buyers online. The first one writes, "Hi, I'm Jessica. I'll buy your sofa and remove it tomorrow morning. But first, I'm going to need your phone number and to make sure you're not a scammer." The second one writes, "Hi, I'm Mike. Nice sofa, but the price is a bit higher than I was hoping. Can you make a $100 discount?" And Sheila says, "This sofa is perfect for my studio, but I'm abroad at the moment. Can we postpone the delivery for next week?" Can you help Audrey choose the best buyer? The first buyer introduces herself as Jessica, but her username and picture don't really match. Moreover, it's a bad idea to reveal your phone number to strangers online. As for Mike, his proposal to lower the price is ridiculous because Audrey is selling the sofa for $100 only. Thus, Sheila is the best choice.
Ooh.
The next morning, Audrey wakes up in her new apartment. The boxes are still unpacked, but Audrey wants to brew some coffee. Her coffee machine is in one of these 3 boxes. The note on the first box says that the coffee machine isn't in box 2. The note on the second box says the machine is in box 1 or 3. And the note on the third box says that the coffee machine isn't here. Can you help Audrey choose the right box? If the coffee machine isn't in the second box, it's either in the first or the third box. But the note on box 3 says the machine isn't there. so it must be in the first box. And now Audrey's task is to find one important thing. It has one eye but still cannot see. What is it? It's a needle. Here's what Audrey is looking for now. It's a protector and it sits on a bridge. One individual can see directly through it while others wonder what it hides. What is she looking for? Sunglasses. We meant the nasal bridge. Can you spot 3 emojis in Audrey's kitchen? Here they are. Audrey goes to the laundry room in the basement of the building. She gets lost and comes across 3 doors leading outside the trap. Behind the first door, there's a room full of poisonous bees that could make people lose their mind. Behind the second door, there's a room without oxygen. And there's a room full of unfriendly monsters behind the third door. Which way is more or less safe? The room without oxygen seems the most promising option. Audrey can hold her breath and quickly walk through the room. Audrey is about to leave the basement, but she comes across an anxious neighbor who says, "I just saw a crocodile and it ran into the boiler room." Audrey goes there to check, but nobody's there. How did the croc escape? This way. Audrey returns to her place. She scrolls her feed and sees these 2 photos. One of these ladies is a robot. Can you guess who? This lady on the left has an engine oil canister in the bathroom, but it doesn't prove that she's a robot. Meanwhile, the person in the toilet stall has strange wires in unexpected places, so she's the robot. Audrey goes to the furniture store. There, she sees a group of customers, but it's not that simple. One of them is a werewolf. Can you guess who? It's the third lady. Her claws pierced her gloves. She's transforming into a werewolf. Audrey goes to the local food court and purchases a cup of coffee and a strawberry donut. She leaves a tray with her order on a table and leaves for a moment to tip the waiter. Then she returns to find out that her food is gone. Audrey questions 3 people standing nearby. The cleaner says, "I was about to throw away your tray, but then I noticed that the food was untouched, so I left it alone." The manager says,
Sorry, miss. It's not my job to guard the tables.
and a customer sitting next to Audrey says, "Ew, gross. I would never touch someone else's food. What if you're sick?" Who's lying? The manager. You can see donut sprinkles on his face. Busted.
Get ready! These riddles will show you how attentive you are and how sharp your eyesight is. Let's rock it!
Yeah.
Esme, Evelyn, and Elise are drinking coffee. Ava, Ella, and Emma are drinking soda. Is Esther going to drink coffee or soda? Esther is going to drink coffee. The letter E in her name is used twice, just like in the names of the other coffee drinkers. Here's a tough question. Look at the picture and choose what or who you'll say first. You should save your family first. In any family, there are several people. They can help you save the rest of the people and the money. Look at these pictures. There's something wrong in one of them. Can you figure out what it is? This woman is eating the soup with a fork. Well, that's not a very successful strategy. Let's look at this picture. At first, there may seem like there's nothing in it but 3 bright stripes of different colors. But if you squint, you might find something else there. Have you spotted several faint numbers in the image? They are 55, 37, and 22. What do you think? Who's in greater danger here? It's the woman. If the man doesn't provoke the sharks, they might just circle him a few times and swim away. Or they might not be interested in humans altogether. But the flames won't be so hesitant. Stephen's family was away for the weekend. When they came back, they found Stephen injured and unconscious in the living room. The maid said she had been cleaning the house all morning and then had taken a nap in the afternoon. The cook told the police he had been making a food inventory in the afternoon. And the driver said he had been away, driving the kids to a museum. Who has something to do with the accident? It's the driver. The whole family, including the kids, were away on the weekend. He couldn't have driven them anywhere. Now, are you witty enough to crack the following riddle? What tastes like an apple but is green in color? It's a green apple. Nothing less, nothing more. How many letters are there in the vowels? There are 9 letters. Count yourself. The vowels. Mary went to a massage spa to have let's assume it's a massage. Great choice. She was having such a great time that she dozed off. When it was time to pay, the woman found out that her money was missing. There were 3 people who could have taken the money. The first employee said she had been having her lunch at the back of the salon. The second employee claimed she had gone to the back of the storage to get some oil. And another customer explained that she had been waiting for her turn to get a massage. Who is lying? The second employee. Why would she need to go to the storage if she has a few bottles of oils right there? Which banana, in your opinion, is the best and ready to be eaten? You should pick banana number 4. It's ripe and yellow, and there are no brown spots on it yet. Uncle Jack had a huge problem. His farm had experienced a terrible downpour, and now all but 15 pigs were missing and couldn't be found. How many pigs were still in the barn? $15. Hannah told her mom that her gymnastics team would be going to a sports camp for the weekend. Her mother thought it was a lie, and Hannah would spend the weekend with her boyfriend instead. And still, she helped her daughter pack her bag and didn't say a word. When Hannah came back from her weekend away, she complained to her mom that she had forgotten to pack a toothbrush. That's when her mother made sure Hannah was lying. But how did she understand it? The woman put a toothbrush inside Hannah's rolled-up sports clothes. If the girl had indeed gone camping, she would have unpacked these clothes and found the toothbrush. Can you figure out what is dark but made by light? It's a shadow, a dark area that only appears when there's a source of light. Buckets, barrels, baskets, cans. What can you fill with empty hands? Well, if your hands are empty, you can only fill gloves. Look at these women. Who is the baby's mother? It's the woman on the right. Have you noticed diapers lying in the corner? Now pay attention to these people and to what they're doing. Can you figure out which one of them is left-handed? It's the waitress. She serves with her left hand. That's why she needs to hold the tray with her right hand. Oliver was on his way to another city. It was late evening, and at some point, the man felt tired and sleepy. He immediately stopped at the nearest hotel and went inside. While the receptionist was looking for an available room, Oliver saw a breakfast flyer with delicious-looking fried eggs on it. Excuse me, could I probably have 4 fried eggs right now? The receptionist wasn't sure about that. Our cook brought 8 eggs in the morning. He broke 3 and fried 3. Were there enough eggs left for Oliver? The cook broke 3 eggs and cooked them. It leaves us with 5 extra eggs, which should be more than enough for Oliver. Some people hate it and some love it. It changes people's thoughts and appearances. If a person takes care of themselves, it goes higher. Some people manage to hide it. Others try but fail. But whatever people do, it never goes down. What is it? It's their age. When Matt was 8 years old, he hammered a nail into his favorite tree in the garden to mark his height. Then his family moved away, and he couldn't check how fast he was growing anymore. 10 years later, at the age of 18, Matt decided to come back to find the tree. If the tree grows 2 inches a year, how much higher is the nail now? The nail's going to be at the same height. Trees grow at their tops, not bottoms. Why are pianos so hard to open? The keys are inside. Mike was on his way to visit his grandma, who lived on the other side of the valley. It was her anniversary, so he wanted to give her the cakes he had made. Between Mike's house and her house, the guy had to cross 5 bridges. And as it was in the land of make-believe, there was a troll under every bridge. Each troll insisted that Mike pay a troll toll. Before the guy could cross the bridge, he had to give them half of the cakes he was carrying. But since they were kind trolls, each of them gave Mike back an entire cake. How many cakes did Mike have to take with him to make sure that he arrived at his grandma's house with exactly 2 cakes? Mike needs to take 2 cakes. At each bridge, he's required to give half of his cakes, and he receives 1 back, which leaves him with 2 cakes after every bridge. Mr. Brown opened a newspaper in the morning and saw a headline, "Workers want to make less money." He was confused until he read the article. What was going on? The workers who wanted to make less money worked at the mint and were tired of being overworked. They wanted to work less, which would mean making less money since money is made at a mint. A frog is at the bottom of a well. To get out of it, it needs to climb 30 feet. Each morning, the frog jumps 3 feet up the path, but each night, as it sleeps, it slips 2 feet back down. Thus, at the beginning of the first day, the frog has 30 feet to go. At the beginning of the second day, it has 29 feet to go, and so on. How many days will it take the frog to get out of the well? It'll take 28 days for the frog to get out. In other words, it will get out on the morning of the 28th day. This is because at the beginning of this day, the frog has 3 feet left to travel. And since the frog jumps 3 feet forward each morning, it will jump out of the well on this day. Read it?
Imagine studying at a college library all night long and falling asleep, being totally worn out. But when you wake up, you find out that the library is haunted, and you can't get out of there. There are ghosts all over the place, and they're not really friendly. Fortunately, a ghost hunter is locked in the library together with you. You decide to team up to survive. And your first challenge is to figure out who is a ghost here. What you need to do here is pay attention to their reflections. The ghost that has the weird one doesn't follow the laws of physics. You feel a bit more confident with a ghost hunter by your side. She says that the doors are blocked, and you have to catch all the ghosts to make the library safe. So, it's time to go and hunt. Try to find a ghost here. Where can it be? Pay attention to that bizarre fan. It's unplugged but still working. There must be a ghost hiding inside and messing with it. One ghost down, one more to find. Do you see anything suspicious? A small hint. Pay attention to those balloons left after a small party. Have you noticed that the red balloon has a pin in it? But strangely, even pierced, the balloon remains intact. And the air is still inside. It must be haunted. The ghost hunter tells you the story of a witch that used to live nearby. You find out that your ally is here to catch the ghost of this powerful creature. If you want to help her, you need to find an old book about witchcraft. The ghost hunter tells you that the witch's spirit lives in this book. Look around and try to spot the one you need. The task is tricky since it's a library and there are tons of books on the shelves. Can it be this one? Nah, it looks dusty enough, but it's because nobody wants to read a book about fishing. This one is in Chinese. It's unlikely that the witch spoke this language. But look at that book, half hidden beneath the sofa. It's the one. But it's open, which means the ghost is somewhere around. Suddenly, you see the ghost of the witch right next to the door. The supernatural creature is so powerful, you need to protect yourself. You have to create a circle around yourself. What can you use for this purpose? There is some sugar in that jar next to the coffee pot, but how will you draw a perfect circle using it? There's also a piece of rope, but it's too short to make a circle that could fit 2 people. Ah, look at that! It's chalk. It will definitely work.
Yes!
The ghost hunter manages to confine the ghost of the witch in a special proton pack, and the library is safe now.
Yeah.
Now you just need to figure out the code to open the lock on the door. Luckily, there are some clues. After considering all the points, you can conclude that the code is 042. You're finally out of the library, but there's an unpleasant surprise waiting for you. You see 3 strangers hanging on a tree. One of them is a ghost, but which one? The lady in red is wearing white contact lenses. That's why she looks so weird. The lady in blue seems to have 2 pairs of eyes, but that's just a bizarre makeup trick. The guy is a ghost. His face is turned upside down and his legs are twisted in the wrong direction.
Oh my god.
To drive as far away as possible from the haunted library, you need to choose a bike. Which one should you pick? Bike A has a flat tire. Gasoline is leaking from the tank of Bike B, so Bike C is your best choice. But before you can use the bike, you need to solve a riddle. Look at these numbers. Can you figure out the missing one? It's 37. You have to multiply the 2 numbers at the top and then subtract the number at the bottom. So, 5 multiplied by 9 is 45, and 45 minus 8 is 37.
Oh.
Just as you're about to drive away, the ghost hunter approaches you. She has an offer for you. Since you're so smart and brave, she wants you to become her assistant. Well, why not? She's been invited to figure out which member of a large family is possessed by a ghost. Can you help her find the answer? This woman looks kinda scared, but she's not possessed. She noticed a rat in the corner of the room and is staring at the rodent in fear. The man is wearing dark glasses, even though he's indoors. But he's blind. Do you see that white cane next to him? The granny is the one who's possessed. There is a trace of ectoplasm going through the whole room towards her. Another day, another case. Now, you need to guess which of these ladies is a ghost bride. Have you noticed that the girl on the right is sweating? The bride in the middle is just wearing a costume. See that zipper? But the bride on the left is a real ghost. She's slightly transparent. A scared store owner calls your new boss, saying there's a vampire in his town. When you arrive there, you can't find the store owner, but there are 3 people inside. Look at them attentively and help the ghost hunter figure out which one of them is a vampire. Well, the first one's eyes are pretty red, but maybe he hasn't had enough sleep or is coming down with the flu. The second visitor seems to be freezing. Almost all parts of her body are covered with some clothing. Could be the air conditioning. But look at the third person. He's drinking something red from a glass using a straw. He must be the vampire you're looking for. Now, where is the store owner? Your next task is to figure out which vampire is real. The first vampire has a reflection. The second one doesn't have fangs. Only the third one is the real vampire. One day, a very pale woman covering a bite on her neck with her hand comes to your office. She says that when she was going home the evening before, someone attacked her and turned her into a vampire. She wants to find the culprit. You have 3 suspects. Look at them attentively and find the one who turned the woman into a vampire. This elderly man has no teeth, so he can't be the vampire. This woman has tan marks, but vampires can't sunbathe. So, the man wearing gloves must have turned your client into a vampire. The ghost hunter allows you to take a vacation, and you go to visit your friends in Chicago. During dinner, they tell you about a mysterious mansion. It has a very bad reputation. People say that those who enter it never come back. Despite your friends' warnings, you decide to explore the building. The place indeed looks creepy, and soon you realize that you're lost. Whatever you do, you can't find the exit. Suddenly, you find yourself in a large room. There are 4 doors in this room. Behind the first door, there's a mummy. Behind the second door, a vampire is hiding. The third door leads into the den of a hungry wolf. And behind the fourth door, there's a ghost. Which door should you opt for to get out of the mansion unharmed? The mummy can potentially be very dangerous. The vampire behind the second door is also far from friendly. The wolf, especially hungry, can easily attack you. In comparison, the ghost is relatively harmless. You should choose the fourth door. Take a look at this image for a second. Which prisoner do you think is rich? Let's see. It can't be the first guy since his food is partially rotten. It looks like the other inmates don't really like him, and he doesn't have a lot of power inside the prison. The second guy, while he looks super wealthy, his jewelry is actually fake. This leaves us with the last guy, and bingo, it's him! Look, he's got a laptop under his plate and a phone under his arm. He's the richest for sure. Susie was invited to take part in a pop-up riddle show. She needed to answer one question correctly to win $1,000. She was extremely nervous when the game show host asked her this question. How many numbers are on a clock? Can you help Susie figure out this one? The answer looks obvious, but it's not. You need to do some math. The correct answer is 15. It doesn't work if you simply stare at the clock and say there are 12 numbers. You see, the numbers 10, 11, and 12 are made up of smaller numerical numbers, so the correct way to count it would be in a clockwise fashion. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0, 1, and 1. Phew! A local thief was running around playing tricks on some neighborhood stores. On a Saturday morning, he walked inside Mrs. Buchanan's shop and stole a $100 bill from the counter when she wasn't looking. He grabbed a shopping cart and filled it with $70 worth of goods. He paid for everything with the $100 bill he had stolen and even got $30 back as change. How much money did the store owner lose in all of this? The shop owner just lost $100. I know it sounds too simple, but here's the deal. In total, the store owner lost $70 worth of merchandise, plus the $30 she gave as change. So yes, she lost $100. Maya was roaming through the multiverses when she ran into a gatekeeper guarding a green door. She said she needed to go through the door in order to access her original timeline, but the gatekeeper would only let through those who answered his riddle. He told her that some things can go through the green door while others cannot, and she needed to figure out what all of the things had in common. And then he tells her, "You can come through the door with a carton of eggs, but not with a box of donuts. You can pass through it with a gallon of skim milk, but not a quart of it. You can bring with you some bamboo, but not jade, orchids, philodendron, or ivy. Sadly, you can't come through with dogs and cats unless they're still puppies and kittens." Can you help Maya figure out the pattern in common with all of these things? Well, the key to solving this riddle can be found in all 4 of the words that make up the phrase green glass door, aka double letters. If something is spelled with double letters, it can go through the green glass door. If there are no double letters in its name, then it can't. Mark went to the farmer's market to do his weekly grocery shopping. He stopped by the egg stand, and the owner was feeling chatty, so he challenged Mark to guess the answer to a riddle. He told Mark,
"If I had 4 eggs and a thief gave me 3, and my rooster laid 5 more, how many eggs do I have?"
Can you help Mark figure out the answer here? I'll get one thing out of the way. It's not a simple math problem. It doesn't work if you just add everything up. But here's the first problem. Roosters don't lay eggs, so those eggs are out of the equation. And then if you read correctly, the man said, "If I had 4 eggs," which means that he had 0 eggs to begin with. So the correct answer is 3. The 3 eggs that the thief gave him. 4 prisoners from a high-security prison were taken to a deserted beach to do some community service. The warden wanted to have some fun, so he lined them up in a single-file line and separated prisoner A from the other 3 with the help of a brick wall. He gave each prisoner a hat, either black or white, without telling them which color they each got. In total, there were 2 black hats and 2 white hats. He told them that all prisoners would be sentenced to prison for life, except they could guess correctly which color of hat they had in under 10 minutes. The prisoners weren't allowed to confer with each other, and they weren't allowed to move around or change positions. They got super nervous, of course, but they had no other option than to play the game. Luckily, just before the clock struck 10 minutes, one of the prisoners guessed correctly their hat color. Can you guess which prisoner it was? P.S. There is only one correct answer. If you guessed prisoner C, then you got it right. Let's see why. This riddle can only be solved through a process of elimination, and 2 of the prisoners, prisoners A and B, can be eliminated right off the bat. That's because neither one of them can see any of the other prisoners, so neither possesses any information with which to make a more certain guess. That just leaves us prisoners C and D. When prisoner D remains silent and doesn't take a guess, prisoner C deduces his own hair color. He deduces that he and prisoner B must be wearing different colored hats, and since prisoner B was wearing a white hat, he guessed he is wearing a black hat. Yikes! This fried my hat off. Betty was in her last year of high school and she decided to take photography as an extracurricular activity. For her latest assignment, she needed to take an urban picture and present it to the class. However, since Betty was also organizing a big graduation trip, She didn't have time to do the assignment. Instead, she decided to Photoshop an image and show it in class. The teacher and students immediately saw that the picture wasn't real. How could they tell? Well, because that person over there has two heads. It looks pretty cool, but that's kind of a difficult phenomenon to find here on this planet. Three people decided to spend their vacations in Antarctica. Bianca had some trouble with the harsh weather, but felt it was worth it in the end. Pablo had a great time photographing the penguins for his social media page. And Helena got to do some fishing while she was there. On the last day of their trip, passing through airport security, one of them got caught trying to take a penguin with them in their backpack. Take a look at the picture. Can you tell who it was? Let's see what we have here. Well, is that a penguin's feet poking out of Helena's backpack? It sure is. Guess she did more than just fishing during her vacation. Yikes! Fifth of December is Bloomfield Town's Contest Day. For this year, the mayor picked bakery as the theme, so contestants needed to bake the best dessert to win. The only rule was that the bakers couldn't use sugar in their recipes, only natural sweeteners. When the mayor went to judge the 4 finalists and pick the best dessert, he immediately disqualified one of the bakers, saying they had cheated. And he did that without even tasting the desserts. Take a look at the contestants and see if you can spot the cheater. Look at the third woman in the row. Her cake is literally covered in powdered sugar. She was disqualified because she broke the no sugar rule. Mr. Perry was at a company meeting when suddenly all the lights went off due to a blackout. When they came back on, Mr. Perry's valuable pen was missing. He asked his colleagues what they were doing in the dark. John said he was replying to his emails. Tom claimed he was looking for a flashlight in his bag. Lisa said she was just sitting still, waiting for the lights. Mr. Perry quickly figured out who the liar was. Can you? It was John. His claim of replying to emails on his laptop doesn't make sense because the power outage would have affected the Wi-Fi. Somebody had been ruining the famous paintings at the City Museum. Detective Harris received a tip that the vandal, known for wearing disguises, would strike again tonight. At the museum, he spotted 3 individuals acting oddly. Can you help him identify the person damaging the artworks? The first person might be holding a paintbrush, but its bristles are clean. The second person has paint on her shoes, but it's just a designer pattern. The third person, however, has fresh paint on their gloves. That's the vandal. Mrs. Parker lost her precious necklace at the community fair. She remembers 3 women bumping into her around the time it disappeared. Can you figure out who took it? The first woman has a small envelope-style clutch bag. It looks too thin to hold anything bulky like a necklace. The second woman has a full shopping bag, but it's transparent and there's no necklace inside. The third woman has a scarf tied loosely around her neck, but there's something shiny beneath it. That's where the necklace must be. At the town bake sale, a delicious chocolate cake decorated with cherries disappeared. When the guards checked the security footage, they spotted 3 bakers who were near the cake last. Take a look at them all. Can you tell who swiped the cake? Baker 1 has frosting on their apron, but it's vanilla, so it can't be him. Baker 2's apron has cherry color smudges on it, but look at his display. He's selling cherry cupcakes, so those smudges must be the result of that. Baker 3 has a large empty cake carrier hidden under his cake display, and chocolate fingerprints on the corner of the glass. That's the cake thief! The International Detective Agency was searching for Annabelle Lee, a robber who stole $100 million from a bank. One of the detectives got an anonymous call that she was going to be at the airport. So he rushed there and spotted 3 suspicious-looking ladies. Can you help him catch the real Annabelle Lee? Check out the wanted poster of Annabelle Lee here on the alerts board. She has a beauty mark on her left cheek, but the first lady's beauty mark is on her right cheek, so she can't be her. And even though the second lady has the same hair color, she has no beauty mark. So the real Annabelle Lee is the third lady. The beauty mark is on the correct cheek. She just dyed her hair. It was Lily's first day of internship, and she was going to work at the lab of a famous scientist. During an experiment, she accidentally pressed a wrong button, which suddenly opened a vortex that transported her to a mystical maze. There were 3 paths she could take to escape. The first path was covered in flames. The second path had a deep, unending pit. And the third path was a narrow corridor with swinging axes. Which one should she choose? Lily should choose the third path with the swinging axes. Do you see the small, hidden button on the wall at the entrance of the corridor? It says Stop Axes on it. By pressing the button, she can deactivate the swinging axes long enough to make her way through the corridor without harm. Mr. Barnabas was the CEO of a big company. One day, his employees came to his office to ask for sick leave. Eliza said she was having stomach issues, and Richard said his broken arm was giving him a hard time when using his computer. Mr. Barnabas immediately realized that one of them was lying. Can you? It's Richard. His cell phone is in his right pocket. He would have to use his broken arm to put it in there. Mrs. Penny's prized roses in her garden were mysteriously pruned overnight. She suspected one of her neighbors. Take a look at them all. Can you help Miss Penny find out who did it? The first neighbor might be wearing his gardening gloves, but they're spotless. So he must have just put them on. The second neighbor is holding a pair of shears, but they look so rusty that she couldn't have used them to cut all those roses. The third neighbor, however, has freshly cut rose stems in their compost bin. That's our rose pruner. Jason was working on his laptop at the college library. He went out to get some snacks, but when he came back, his laptop was gone. There were 3 different students with him in the library. Can you help Jason figure out who took his laptop? Student 2 here is wearing a big bulky jacket, even though he's indoors and the weather outside looks warm and sunny from the window. That's suspicious. So he must be hiding the laptop in there. 3 campers were sitting around the campfire enjoying their s'mores. However, when they realized that there's only one s'more left, they started arguing. Camp counselor Mr. Harris decided to put an end to their argument by saying, "Whoever can answer my riddle correctly will get this last s'more. The more of this there is, the less you see. What is it?" The correct answer is darkness. Mr. Nelson was the owner of a pet supply store. One day, one of the luxury gourmet dog treats he was selling in his store got stolen. The police officer visited the houses of his last 3 customers, Maria, Edward, and Arthur. Can you help the officer figure out who's the treat thief? Take a look at this pet portrait Maria has on the wall. She has a cat, so there's no reason she would steal dog treats. And look at the dog food package Arthur has next to the door. On the package, it says, "Strict diet food for allergic dogs." That can only mean his dog couldn't eat the gourmet treats anyway. Then, it must be Edward who stole them. Every day, Mrs. Johnson visited the park to feed the birds. One day, she spotted a young mother and her sweet baby playing. She couldn't help but wonder who the father of the baby was, but she didn't want to ask the mother about it since she thought it would be rude. She noticed 3 men who were all at the park at the same time. Can you help her figure out who Elisa's husband is? Take a look at the second guy. His eyes are green just like the baby, so he must be the father. Blair, Chuck, and Serena were all flying to their holiday destination on a private jet. However, during their plane ride, one of the engines failed and all the passengers had to evacuate. Who is least likely to land safely? Both Blair and Chuck have parachutes in their backpacks. See the pins here? But look at Serena's bag. It doesn't have a parachute pin. Barney was scuba diving with his friend Amy. When they finally reached the coral reefs, Barney noticed that this was actually a dream. Can you spot the 3 oddities which made him think so? Firstly, take a look at Amy's scuba tank. It's not a tank, it's a big plastic bottle. She can't be diving with that. Secondly, do you see the SOS writing on the sand? It's not possible to write anything underwater. And lastly, check out this cute dolphin. It doesn't have any fins.
Every morning, Jolene visits Laura's bakery. Today, she stands before the display, pondering over a cupcake, a chocolate croissant, and a gingerbread cookie. Can you tell what she's going to pick? She will most likely pick the gingerbread man cookie today. Look at her scarf adorned with gingerbread men. This tells me she must be craving a Christmas-themed treat. Laura's bakery was failing, and she was desperate for some money to save her business. She found 3 baking competitions online with a grand prize of $50,000. Look at their announcement websites. 2 of those competitions were a scam to take people's data. Can you figure out which one is legit? The website for the Golden Whisk competition is full of spelling errors, such as these ones here and here. And the contact information section is conspicuously missing, which raises some red flags. The website for the Great Bakers Challenge asks for a social security number and bank details here, which is unusual for a baking competition. The Star Baker Showdown, on the other hand, has past winners, rules, and contact information pages on the right side of their website, which makes it seem professional and legit. So she should apply for that one. Laura received a letter from the competition jury. It stated that her application was accepted to move to the 2nd stage of the contestant selection. To successfully complete that, she needed to answer this riddle. In a baker's window, I often lie. Golden and sweet, a feast for the eye. Filled with fruit or sometimes cream. Guess my name, a pastry dream. Can you help Laura? The answer is a tart. For the third stage of the competition, the bakers who were selected were invited to the Kingdom of Frostholm. There, they needed to show their baking skills by baking a Christmas cake for the royal family who were organizing this competition. So, Laura needed to book her plane ticket. Do you know for which date she needs to book it? Remember the letter she got? There was a note on there at the very end, and it said, Competition Stage 3 date, 24th of December. Laura checked the price of the plane ticket, but it was too expensive. However, she didn't notice the thing that might help her with the purchase. Can you spot what that is? Look at the info bar right at the end of the airline's website. There's a sliding notification that says, "Click here to answer our riddle and get a discount." Once Laura clicked the link, this riddle appeared on her computer screen. I'm a guide without a voice that gives you the whole world in your pocket or bag. What am I? The answer is a map. Laura flew to the Kingdom of Frostholm, where she was greeted by the butler of the royal family. He took her to the palace, where the contestants would be staying, and showed her 3 different room options. Which one should she pick? Do you see the hidden camera behind the TV inside the first room? So that's a pass. As for the third room, notice how the AC is set to cold even though it's snowing outside. No to that. So she should pick the second room. The palace employees had arranged a palace tour for the contestants to get them to relax a bit before the big day. During the tour, however, Laura noticed 3 strange things within the palace walls. Peek inside the throne room. Can you spot what's weird here? Do you see the portraits of the royal family members here above the thrones? The eyes of this past king's portrait are moving. Ooh. What's scary here in the kitchen? Take a gander at the chandelier. It's made of kitchen knives. And lastly, can you see what's creepy here in the ballroom? Do you see that dancing ghost that appears and disappears next to the stairs? Spooky. The day before the competition, Laura and the other contestants were introduced to the past winners in case they needed some inspiration and motivation. 3 bakers presented the cakes that made them win to the contestants. Laura immediately noticed that one of them was a zombie. Can you tell who? The second baker is surrounded by flies, but that just means she's a messy person, not a zombie. How did she even win? The third baker's cheeks have green spots on them, but that's just from the icing she used while making her cake. So the first baker is the zombie. Imagine the lollipop she decorated her cake with. One of them is an eyeball. Well, it was finally the big day. All the contestants were going to bake a pie, but they were told to choose what kind. There were 3 judges, and as they introduced themselves, they told the contestants what kind of pie their favorite was. Judge 1 expressed his love for chocolate pies. Judge 2 announced berry pie was his favorite. and Judge 3 said he was fond of pecan pies. However, Laura could tell one of them was lying. Can you tell who? Do you see the chocolate stains and pie crumbles on the second judge's shirt? That can only mean he's been enjoying a slice of chocolate pie before arriving at the competition venue. So he must prefer them to berry pies, despite what he said. It was decided Laura was going to bake a chocolate pie, and she was going to use her grandmother's secret recipe. In fact, her grandmother had written 2 of the ingredients in code so no one could steal her recipe. Let's look at them. Can you tell what these are? Just shift back each letter of the nonsense words by 1 in the alphabet, and you'll get the answer. So the first word decodes to sugar, and the second word decodes to cacao. The moment everyone had been waiting for was here. They were going to announce the winner. It was Laura. However, before she could claim her prize, the head judge presented her with one last challenge, a riddle to truly prove her baking wisdom. In the kitchen, I'm a king. Without me, baking's nothing. I can rise but never fall. And without my presence, your cake's too small. What am I? Can you help Laura win the grand prize? The correct answer is yeast. Now, before Laura flew back home, she wanted to explore the Christmas market of the kingdom. As she was waiting in line to get hot chocolate, a guy came up to her and congratulated her on her win. She could immediately tell who he was. Can you? He's the prince of the kingdom of Frostholm. Let's rewind a bit to when Laura was taking a tour of the palace. The prince's portrait is here among the royal family members' portraits, so she remembers him from there. The prince said he ate a slice of Laura's chocolate pie and loved it so much he was reminded of his childhood holidays. In return, he wanted Laura to take something from the market as his thank you gift and something to remind Laura of her days here. Laura decided to pick a snow globe from the souvenir stall. Look at these 3 snow globes. Which one should she pick? Do you see that the first snow globe is cracked at the back and slowly leaking liquid? That wouldn't stand the journey back. And the ballerina inside the second snow globe is blinking. Must be some kind of a haunted item. So she should pick the third snow globe. At the airport departure gate, Laura was stopped by security because the scanner bleeped every time she passed it. What could be causing that? It's because of the necklace chain that is dangling from the pocket of her jacket. But she didn't have anything like that. When she checked it to figure out who it belonged to, she noticed that the heart-shaped pendant had a message from the prince to her.